Ladies and gentlemen, here he is. Woo! The sensation, Jason Gabon!
Danmark har fået en ny verdensmester. Mikkel Kessler. He's the fucking champion of the world. Mikkel, man.
The 122nd edition of the Box Asylum Nuthouse podcast, brought to you by boxasylum.com. I'm your host, Andy Patterson. With me today I've got Steve Wellens, Kurt Ward, Alex Morris and Paul Webb from First Class Boxing. It is the 26th of April. We're 1 week away from the Mayweather Pacquiao fight. We mentioned the name, no longer Fighter A, Fighter B. I did promise you guys that we would discuss the fight in detail this week, and unfortunately we'll need to discuss it next week as well. But before we do so, anyway, we've got a couple of fights we need to cover. First off the bat, Wladimir Klitschko made the 18th defence of his world heavyweight title last night against Bryant Jennings in New York at Madison Square Garden. UD 118-109, 116-111 twice on the scorecards. In all honesty, I'll go to you first, Kurt. I know you, for the first time in so many years, stayed up for the first time to watch the fight. I watched it this afternoon actually, and to be honest, I'm glad I kind of called it a day pretty early there last night, because it wasn't the greatest fight in all honesty. Jennings gave Klitschko some amount of problems just with the movement, etc. Unless you stand in front of Klitschko, you're going to give him problems, and unfortunately Klitschko wasn't able to get the stoppage there last night. I did think that Jennings would get stopped there last night, but certainly big improvements, upped his game, certainly tighter about the defence as well. Just unfortunate that he couldn't, land so many clean shots to the chin and to the head, etc. He did a lot of work to the body. Just unfortunate though is when he did come inside, he kind of lowered his head, and obviously Klitschko coming forward, he kind of fall into a clinch, and then obviously the haters are saying, "Oh well, typical Klitschko." Simple fact is this, as Kurt as we've discussed, if you get a guy the same size and same height as Klitschko, he's far more aggressive, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I mean, the Tony Thompson and Marius Wack fight showed that there's less clinching, there's more, big punches being thrown. I mean, it's horrible when you got a smaller guy, just, one's lunging. Vlad is obviously clinching as well. He doesn't want to fight inside. But, yeah, I mean, last night I made a terrible mistake. I thought the fight would be on a lot earlier than it was. And when I heard it was only going to be like 4 o'clock, I thought, shit, what have I done? But I stayed up, I managed to, and it was a horrible fight. I mean, full credit to Jennings. He done a lot better than I expected. He took the shots a lot better than I expected. He had a lot of head movement. He did something that I really thought was a good tactic that you got to do against Vlad that no one ever does, and that was work the body. And the only real chance you get to work the body is when you're in the clinch. And I mentioned it after the Povetkin fight. Povetkin was clinched, 10 times around. He just stood there and accepted it. Yeah, if he'd been working the body every single clinch, who knows, if Vlad's stamina would have held up. And I think last night Vlad did look more ragged as the fight wore on. I don't think it was that as close as some people. I gave Jennings 3 rounds. I think Vlad won comfortably, just that he didn't look, as dominant as usual. I mean, I think for the first time he looked, he's 39 years of age. It's no slight on him. That just happens to everyone. And I don't know who the next fight is going to be. I mean, it should be Tyson Fury, but I'm not sure if that'll happen or not. You just don't know how this game is. But I think that'll be a much better fight, because obviously you've got a bigger guy in there against Vlad. He's not going to be moving about like Jennings. He's going to be in front of Vlad, and the clinching won't be happening as much. But yeah, Jennings gave his all. He was a lot tougher, but I just thought, Klitschko's footwork, I think, were as great as ever for a big guy at his age. I think they're great, but his hands look a lot slower to me, and they didn't seem to have the same pop on them. Jennings still took them well, but they just didn't have the same effect. And yeah, it was a rather a dull affair, and I don't think the Americans will be that desperate to see him again, which is a shame, because after his return there after 7-8 years, they packed the place out, and they wanted to get behind him, support him, and it was just, I'm not really blaming either guy, but it just wasn't a very good fight.
Yeah, 17,000 fans in the MSG there last night. You just wonder as well as maybe, with fatherhood, is he getting the proper night's sleep? You just don't know. Paul, mate, give me your take on Jennings there last night. Were you impressed with him in any sort of way? He's got a lot of credit today, chin, heart, hanging in there with the universally recognised heavyweight champion. But were you impressed with Jennings' performance there last night?
Yeah, I think he deserves a bit more credit than just saying, he did well to stick in there. I thought he did what a lot of smaller fighters against Klitschko struggle to do, and that's make the most of fighting inside. Klitschko's never been the best inside fighter. He's always been so good at keeping it at range, but I thought he moved well. I thought he was getting his shots off, but like Kurt said, he wasn't really landing anything significant, and it was just a shame that he never really got close enough to testing whether Vlad could still take the big shots at 39 years of age. And I thought he did well. I gave him 4 rounds of the fight, and I thought that Vlad, obviously with the point deduction, so I had it close-ish on the scorecards. It was very clearly a Klitschko fight, and he deserved the win. It was just unfortunate that he didn't put on a real statement. Again, there was a packed house for him, and there's very few fighters that can sell in both sides of the Atlantic, and Klitschko proved that he can do it. You felt that you wanted to see a little bit more. But I thought Chambers did well. He's not an elite heavyweight. I don't think anyone ever thought he was, but he certainly put on a much better performance than a lot of the guys we're used to seeing Klitschko in with. And he's quite young, and he's still got a lot of opportunities out there for him. They will look to match him with others. And like I say, for Vlad, it looks like we're going to get the Fury fight later in the year, and I think that really could happen.
I think this is where you're seeing Vlad miss Manny Stewart, because if that was Manny in there last night, I think he would have told him, you got to step on this a bit now. You saw him do it with Lennox Lewis a couple of times. He's done it with Vlad in the past. Saying, it's not good enough. The crowd aren't happy. You got to press for this. Whereas Jonathan Banks, he's obviously worked alongside Manny and Vlad a long time now, but he hasn't got the authority figure that Manny had. They're more friends and they get on well, and he was in the corner telling Vlad, stick to your boxing, when I just felt he needed to tell him, this isn't good enough, step on it a bit. And sometimes that's what Vlad needs. But, if you're being told you're winning the fight and just stick to boxing, I've said it before, Vlad doesn't really care about entertaining the fans. The win is the most important thing, and it's a shame that because he can be devastating when he lets the hands go.
Kurt, did you think it was actually starting quicker there last night than slowed down as the fight went on? I thought he slowed down dramatically as that fight went on. Usually he's a slow starter and paces himself into the fight. This time he seemed to start quicker, but then slowed down and just right, okay, I'll pace myself through it.
Yeah, I think he came out, and that's what I think I expected. He's on obviously American soil again. I thought he was going to want to make a show and look to take Jennings out, but I don't know whether Jennings was obviously more awkward than he imagined, or he took shots better than he just settled for taking it light. I thought after a while, it just looked like he was willing to just, jab his face in, grind him down, jabbing him, leaning on him a bit. And, a lot of the other fighters, they just have nothing left, and then he just puts them away. But, Jennings, I thought, conditioning-wise, he was pretty excellent, I thought. And, like I said, I thought Vlad looked more ragged than usual. And, we won't really know until the next fight. That could just be a one-off performance. I think, everyone's entitled to them. Usually he's dominant. He wins nearly every round, if not all of them. But I just think, he did look his age last night. And if you go back through the history of the heavyweight division, there's only 2 guys who have been older than him who have won, been at the top or won titles, and that's George Foreman and his brother. And, people forget, but George Foreman retired for like 10 years, and Vitaly obviously retired for like 4 years. Vlad's been there the whole time. He's had a long amateur career. He's been a pro for nearly 20 years. He's never really stepped away from the sport for a long period, and I just think it's age now. And I think if you're a Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, they're going to look at that and they're going to see this is their best chance to beat him, in my opinion. Whether they can or not, I'm not sure.
Steve, do you agree with Kurt? Do you think he's slowing down, or is it just more a case that Jennings was very elusive and difficult here last night for Klitschko to hit cleanly?
I think it might have been a bit of both, Andy. I mean, he's 39. Klitschko, he's had, near 70-odd fights. And I agree with your point, actually. I thought he started off pretty promisingly. I thought, oh, here we go. He's going to put the foot on the gas and he's going to get Jennings out of there. But he seemed to slow down dramatically as the fight went on. But I think I would give Jennings a bit of credit, actually. He was one of the more competitive Klitschko opponents, probably since Sam Peter, even including David Hay in that list. I think Jennings gave Wladimir plenty to think about. I mean, Vlad just did his thing, didn't he? The old jab and grab and shut the fight down when he could. He was very professional, very methodical. But I was impressed with Jennings. I thought he fought better than in the Perez fight even. He was more active and more confident and he threw a lot more shots. But I was actually a little bit disappointed with Wladimir. I thought he'd be a lot more offensive throughout the fight, with the fact that it was on American TV and he was he had the American crowd there, and it was a real chance for him to impress. And I thought he should have took that opportunity to make a bit of a statement, stateside. But he doesn't give a shit what people think of him. He fights himself the way he fights, regardless of what people think. So he doesn't bother. Like I said, though, I think it was more to do with Jennings. I think he bought a little bit more than Klitschko maybe thought he would. I expected Jennings to get bombed out early on. My prediction beforehand was a 5th round KO. I actually thought it was going to be earlier than that. I was allowing for Klitschko's sort of conservatism and giving him time to size up Jennings, soften him up and then beat him up. But he managed to do the 12 rounds and actually thought he was coming on quite well at the end. And he gave Klitschko a somewhat competitive fight, and he shipped relatively little punishment, really, compared to some of Klitschko's previous opponents. But I would love to see Vlad in with Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder pretty soon, because he is definitely nearing the end, which is to be expected.
Paul, you actually made a decent comment there on the Skype chat. It just shows you how people think how good Klitschko is, that a fight he loses a couple of rounds and people think he starts to struggle. I didn't think it was a struggle there from last night. I just think he had problems trying to catch the guy, stand in front of him, constant movement all the time and stuff. I think that's a fair comment. But Alex, you're going to make your comments here, mate. Hopefully your Mixler, the sound of Mixler comes through pretty well. But got a question in here from the matchmaker. He says, does Shannon Briggs ever get that shot of Wladimir Klitschko, or does the Bronze Bomber, or is it Jennings versus Stavern next? What do you think, mate? Alex. Don't tell me we fucking lost him. After that big build-up. What the fuck? Alex!
The cannons laid him out.
His connections got worse.
Just what we're waiting on Alex is just to let listeners know is we're going to very briefly cover the fights from this week, Bellew the week after that, and then all things Mayweather Pacquiao afterwards. Alex, you there? Alex? Last chance. Alex? Okay, on the call we've got Adam Smith. Adam, I take it you saw the heavyweight champ last night?
Yeah, I feel pretty daft though. I was away, stayed over in sunny Leicester last night and set the alarm for 3:30 and got up and watched it. And what
Adam,
a waste
living
of
it up now.
time it was.
Did you deflate it after you left, mate? Yeah.
Oh my god, it was. Oh, I was deflated. I don't know about anyone else. It was shit.
What was? She was?
The fight. No.
Oh, the fight?
She was top draw as you would expect with me. But no, the fight was crap. I didn't really. I just was watching it and I'm like, well, I'm up now. Something will happen. He'll land the right hand in a minute. But he didn't. He threw 2 right hands in the first round, Klitschko, and then it just stayed at a similar pace. Jennings obviously tried. He's one of them though. It's a puzzle. We often say it with Floyd in that you get opponents come in, Canelo a little bit did it, Guerrero did it, and we think, oh well, they're not trying. Why? This is the biggest night of your life. Try. But when the puzzle is so hard to solve, and any mistake can be punished, especially with Klitschko, it could damage you big time. But we saw Jennings was trying. He obviously started quick, and he had the head movement and upper body movement and the moving about and the footwork, and that's why I thought and predicted that Klitschko would get to him in the second half of the fight, but it just never came. And last week people was expecting, we had the doctor on, and he was expecting Klitschko to carry on where he left off in Hamburg, I think it was, with Pulev, and I was just thinking, no, I can't see it. He's always been safety first. I know he was returning to America with possibly, a couple of massive fights down the line to almost sell or set up. But we just never got it. And I thought that beforehand, I watched a bit of Jennings last week. I thought that his little overhand right would have been more of a factor. So, final point on Klitschko, I've decided how to beat him in America, especially if you are American. Make the fight a stinker. Get on his chest, just every time, get on Klitschko's chest and make it look like, and invite him to hold, which he will do naturally. Because last night when he was getting warned, I think he got warned 5 times last night, Klitschko, before the point came off. And he did. Very
early doors he got warned for his holding and stuff. It took him a while, actually.
Yeah, I mean, and he's that much of an expert at holding. It's such a significant part of his style and the way he fights that we saw the start of the fight. Jennings almost had his head under Klitschko's armpit to emphasise it, and then we saw we got warned a bit, and then he was holding around the side, almost hugging. And then he got warned again, and then he got to the stage whereby he had both his hands up in his guard, if you like. By the side of his chin and down to his elbows, kind of thing, and he was almost holding him with his elbows. It was really hard to explain, but it was.
I didn't think he was that bad last night with the holding. My personal opinion. I just think it was the way Jennings was smaller. He rolled in, he came in low. Jennings, so Klitschko comes forward. He's obviously the taller guy. He's just going to lean over the top of the guy. I mean, you don't want to get hit, so that's what you're going to do. You're going to look to hold somebody,
Yeah, I don't think it was nearly as bad as, say, Povetkin. That's probably one of the worst I've seen. But yeah, I just think the way to beat him is to just make it into a stinker, make it look like he's holding, get the ref to warn him, the fans to boo, and that could be the way in, wind him up, make him vulnerable. Obviously, points off always help on the card. So that'll be my way forward to beat him. A bit controversial. I don't know if that's going to turn him back on, if you like, Klitschko to return back to America. I don't know I haven't listened to any interviews. I just turned it straight off. But yeah, that'll be the way forward for me. I think I gave Jennings 3 rounds last night, 4, 6, and 8. I think I gave him. So with the point off, I had it 1-16, 1-11, but it was shite.
The Fury fight will have to happen in Germany. That's not going to happen anywhere else.
Yeah, well, I want to come back to that, Kurt, but I just want to go to this question with Alex first. We'll get the live listeners just to double check. We'll mix it, see if he's coming through finally. Alex, does Shannon Briggs ever get the shot at Vlad Klitschko, or is it going to be the Bronze Bomber next?
I don't think it'll be either of those next. I do think it'll be Fury next because he's the mandatory, and I think that Vlad is more interested in keeping his belts, and I don't think that he really feels threatened by Fury, despite the protestations of a lot of people on Twitter and the Fury fan base and certain people on the forums. I'm coming through on one speaker again.
No, you sound fine, mate. They're saying you're coming through fine.
Some people in the chat, Skype are saying otherwise. I'll keep talking and I'll have a look anyway. Yeah, despite the protestations of Fury fans saying that Vlad's going to duck him, Vlad doesn't duck anyone. He's fought everyone and he's beat everyone. I think that he will probably fight Fury next. Then at some point he's going to fight Shannon Briggs, and then he'll probably fight Wilder next year if Wilder is bothered about that fight. I think that Wilder's best option is just to keep the belt in America and capitalise on being a champion there without really touching Klitschko, because I think Klitschko lays him out. I do think that he can be developed into something more, as crude as he started off as and as horrible as we've slated him. He is improving, and that's a good sign. So I think getting him in some, decent fights. The thing is with the heavyweight division, everyone below Klitschko is roughly the same level, I would say. All the top 10 are all the similar sort of levels. Anyone could really beat anyone, and that's probably a good thing. I mean, people say that the heavyweight division is shite, but I think it's really good because of that. Yeah, you've got the one guy who's stacked and beats everyone, but it's so competitive from there on that it is very interesting. And I think that the fact that Vlad did, I don't know if he looked vulnerable. I think he looked. I think we saw a sort of a game plan or a style that troubles him. An athletic, crafty and gifted, talented fighter like Bryant Jennings. He gave him problems because he used his footwork, he used head movement, something that Pulev didn't do. Pulev didn't have any head movement whatsoever, and he paid for it. But Bryant Jennings, he had his high guard, and he was always trying to, duck and dive in and slip under the jab, and it troubled Klitschko. It really messed him up, and it put him off of his game, and it proved that by the fact that Jennings won a few rounds, which is quite a feat in itself against Klitschko. So I think that what you need is someone who's got exceptional footwork and exceptional head movement. I don't think the Fury's got that, and I don't think Wilder's got that. So I don't think any of them will be the one to topple Vlad by a big punch.
Kurt, we were talking off air earlier on today. Actually, there's something kicking around that potentially, I know we're all saying we want to see a Tyson Fury fight next, but there's something going about here that Fury might not take that fight.
Well, I think people have been saying it. I mean, I think David Haye was recently saying he doesn't think that Fury wants to fight really because they've avoided big men their whole career for some reason. I mean, this is David Haye, so but you just hope that Frank Warren can get this fight. I mean, I know he says it's happening and the WBO say it's happening, but it's like one of those ones. You just think until you actually see them together and it's signed and everything like that, then you got to just wait because anything can happen, and especially with Deontay Wilder. I mean, if the unification can happen, that'll take precedent over the Tyson Fury mandatory. So I hope it happens next. I think it'd be a good fight, and we'll see what Fury's made of. Because he's talked a lot, and can he take on the best, and how would he look in it? He's a big guy and he's a young guy and he's improved a lot, and we'll see if he can back up his words.
How do the what's the stipulations of Klitschko's deal now? I believe he's got one more fight with HBO. Is that right?
Is it just that was his second one, wasn't it? Because the Pulev one was on HBO, wasn't it?
The second of 3. So, assuming, I mean,
Fury,
presumably,
yeah, I reckon he'd be an option. I mean, I think he's by the hardcores at least. I think he's quite well known because he's had a few fights in the States or a few fights shown in the States, and with his singing and his other antics, I think they're quite interested in him.
So, assuming he gets the Fury one, maybe be the third HBO one, are we assuming? And then he's free to go and sort of negotiate with Wilder and Heyman, isn't it? Wilder's a Heyman fighter.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, guys, we'll move along from that fight. Just to let the listeners know, Saddam Ali had a 10-round decision against Francisco Santana last night. Probably might get himself a world title shot off the back of that. Tom Dallas almost lasted one full round against Charles Martin there last night. He got robbed. He got robbed.
That was embarrassing, man. I mean, he got a trip to New York though. I mean, it was. Tom Dallas is one of these guys that you don't remember his fights, but you remember his weird knockouts. I mean, scouting, he was hanging over the ropes.
Remember the David Price victory? So David Price defeat. People were actually saying off the back of that, Price is the real deal, man.
It was a good fight at the time, though, wasn't it? I mean, they were both undefeated in both, sort of like a crossroads fight, wasn't it? So.
Yeah, and
Dallas took that fight on 2 days' notice as well to save that show. So he deserves. I mean, fair play to him. He gave it a crack, but Jesus, it was his one-sided as everybody thought, and he didn't get the NABO title that he surely deserved.
Yeah, I mean, against scouting, I mean, it was like he was laying down on a bed, except it was the ropes when he got knocked out. And last night he was just, I mean, he was like doing a little twerk of some kind. He was just bent over, ass in the air. It was very strange. I mean, he took a shot and just went out of it, and I say fair play to him. He got to fight at Madison Square Garden. You know, not many people can say that.
You wonder how he's still getting licensed. I mean, is he on a Malta Boxing Commission license or something? No, he can barely stand up straight. But fair play to him for getting on the big card. Apparently, HBO were impressed with what they saw, and they're going to have him back. So,
when I saw him, I thought it was like a joke, and then when I knew it was real, I thought, well, who's he going to be up against? I saw this guy, 20-0, 18 knockouts. I mean, you didn't think it was going to go 10 rounds, did you? For some reason.
Yeah, true. Upcoming potential pay-per-view star in the future, Felix Verdejo had a 5-round knockout against Marco Antonio Lopez in Puerto Rico. In Germany, I actually sat and watched some of this card last night. Now, you know you're shite when Matheus Masternak knocks you out in 2 rounds. He knocked out Ruben Angel Mino from Argentina. Now, I had a look at this guy's record before the fight, and it said here 26 wins, 26 knockouts, 3 defeats, and the 3 defeats by knockout as well. So you're thinking you're going to see some fucking banger. But what happened? What rolled up into the ring for a cruiserweight fight? Butterbean with hair. I ain't fucking joking. If you want to check my Twitter account and have a look at my pictures, you'll see what I'm talking about. It was an absolute disgrace. You know, and as I said, Masternak basically had his way with him, knocked him out inside 2 rounds and stuff, and that's when you know that you're shite. It's when that guy knocks you out inside 2 rounds. I mean, this is a guy that fucking... I think he got knocked out of Gregor Drozad. Now, Drozad's a no bad fighter in all honesty, but, you know, this guy, well, he actually had a 10-round majority decision against Jean-Marc Mormick, and Mormick's well past his best. So enough said about that, the better. Now, going on to the Japanese card from, I think it was, so we'll go to Friday first, guys. Badou Jack, Donny's favourite pay-per-view upcoming star, had a 12-round decision victory against Anthony Darrell. Pretty shite fight in all honesty. Darrell never threw much. To be honest, as somebody asked me on Twitter today, who's got a better chance against Jack, Darrell or Groves? I said, well, Woods Groves will throw a couple of punches. Darrell never threw Jack shit, just about. Never scored the fight in all honesty, guys, but I have no problems with Jack getting the nod in that fight.
Oh, I thought Jack won comfortably in the end. I think I had it 116, 112. I thought Darrell was just shit. I mean, I've never rated him anyway, to be honest. I mean, just because he picks up a belt by beating Windmill Beaker, I mean, that doesn't impress me. And I just thought he's just the untalented brother, to be honest. I mean, the other brother, what you say about him, he's a talented guy, but I've never rated him. He just that he can punch a bit, but I mean, Jack he walked him down. He bullied him. I thought, pushed him against the ropes, and I mean, I don't think Jack is anything special either. And I think George Groves will really be fancying his chances against him. You know, but it was a poor fight. But you know, I think you got to give credit to Jack because he wasn't expected to win that, and people probably thought they'd get stopped, especially because he got knocked out in 1 round before as well. But you know, he took some shots. He walked him down. He beat him up, I thought, for the most part. And I think Darrell wants a rematch, but I don't think there's any fan out there who wants to see that.
I don't think any of the fights were particularly good, were they, on that? Was it Spike TV who showed the card?
Yeah.
You know, you had Darrell, Jack, and then the other one, Jacobs and Truax. I wasn't really that impressed with any of the fights. I mean, as for Darrell, he was just too lazy, didn't throw any punches, and just couldn't sustain anything. Jack's no great shakes. If he was to fight George Groves, I'd probably back Groves to beat him, and the belts are just floating around, aren't they, in this sort of Heyman soup? I mean, it doesn't really affect anything, you know, same as the Jacobs fight. I mean, it was a pretty forgettable evening all round.
That's very true. As I said to Donny as well, as you know, Derek Edwards, the fight lasted about a minute in all honesty. You know, he got caught with a shot. Anybody can get caught with a shot in all honesty. But if Derek Edwards is laying you out within 1 round, you'd expect he'd maybe like Darrell to maybe have done something similar, you know, maybe stopped him kind of midway through that fight. I don't rate Jack whatsoever, but we'll wait and see what he
got caught cold, didn't he, against Edwards, to be fair, but putting that aside, I mean, any fighter can get caught cold, but putting that aside, he's no great shakes, as it is.
That's the third world champion that Mayweather Promotions have created now. Same amount of world champions that Eddie Hearn has created.
Interesting fact there. Interesting fact. Hopefully Badou Jack was drug tested though, that's the thing.
Well, hopefully he's with Memo Heredia now, and we all know how what a stand-up guy he is.
Memo shakes, yeah.
And didn't Sky show this? Did Sky show this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, what's the
Shite.
crack with Sky? I mean, they've sort of took a step aside from the international scene for so long, and now they're coming back to it. They're showing these Soilland undercards, the likes of Krasniqi and all this crap that Box Nation was showing. Now they're going over to America finally, and they're showing this. I mean, last time they went, last year I think it was, and showed Butte against Denis Grachev. I mean, why are they backing
It's
the
all
wrong horses?
It's all for the fact is, mate, is if it's a potential matchroom fighter getting a chance to fight, they're going to show him to basically showcase him to us to say, oh, this guy's going to be a great fight. He's undefeated.
They only showed Bramer because they're matching him with Cleverly. They're only showing that because obviously Groves is going to be fighting him, and they're obviously going to have him on Sky doing it as well. I also think it's a good move by Groves, when he turned down the DeGale fight. Because now DeGale, I think he's in a worse position. He's facing Andre Dirrell, the running man, that's going to be such a tough fight for DeGale to win. Groves is facing the much easier guy in Jack. And, if Groves wins and DeGale loses, Groves holds the aces again. And then if Eddie does want to make the rematch between DeGale and Groves, well, Groves is going to be the ace side and get all what he wants. And DeGale's going to have to, bow down to them.
That's it. Groves is laughing, isn't it? I mean, he could have taken that deal then, but he knows that he's got, had a chance of getting the belt from Dirrell if Dirrell won, but even better chance of getting it from Jack now. And, even if DeGale wins, they've both got the belts. Groves is still going to get more money this time round than he was, the first time Eddie offered him the fight.
I just don't think Hearn wanted to make the fight, though. I mean, I didn't see a check anywhere.
I'll tell you one thing about George Groves, though, man. People talk about George Groves, he's this, that, the next thing and stuff. But he seems to be improving himself quite shrewdly recently, actually, as well. We talk about, obviously, the Frotch rematch got quite a fair pretty penny off that. Groves is the type of guy that could fall into a fucking viper's pit, come up wearing snakeskin shoes, He's just one of the guys,
You've got to remember, though, he came up with Adam Booth and David Hay.
Yeah,
I mean, they've done things their own way. A lot of promoters were pissed off the way Booth and Hay went about their own thing, and he's learnt from them, obviously. And people will question up his decisions, but so far in his career, I mean, in the ring, yeah, he's had his troubles, but the money he's made outside, for the fights, you can't question it.
He's proven himself to be a very shrewd operator, and he'll definitely get the easier shot. I think DeGale, just briefly, is right up against it because he's going away to fight the likes of Dirrell. Like you said, he's going to have to come forward to get to, so he doesn't get robbed or whatever, and that's going to play right into Dirrell's hands. DeGale isn't going to want to lead, and I don't see him beating Dirrell. So once again, Groves is in the much stronger position. I questioned it when he signed with Soilland, but he's proven himself to be a very shrewd operator.
Just before Bellew of the Week, the last card, any significance this week, was from Japan on Wednesday. Kazuto Ioka picked up his third world title in the third weight division against Juan Carlos Revecchio, 12-round decision, majority decision, 114, 114, 116, 113, 115, 113. Pretty hard fought battle. I think I actually watched the Argentinian version of this, and they actually had Revecchio winning the fight by, I think it was 3 or 4 points, I think. I thought Ioka just nicked it. And a decent wee scrap from the middleweight division, Kantasura Takayama. And the people might remember this guy's name after last year's fight against Francisco Rodriguez Jr. Decent enough little fight from Mexico. Takayama actually defeated Filin Sakarilan Jr. from Thailand for the IBF minimum title. It was actually a technical decision in the 9th round. Takayama had a bad cut across his right eye, but it was a very, very good fight actually. Well, decent enough little scrap from the little guys. So Takayama, who vacated the WBO title, actually maybe be looking at Heike Butler for another potential unification fight. And that is all the action we've had this week. So coming up next is the Bellew of the Week. Then after that, we're going to have our full-on talk about Mayweather Pacquiao. We're expecting calls, predictions, Twitter comments, all the sorts from you guys from Mixlr, etc., listening live to hit us up on Box Salon Pod on Skype and then get on to say your view. Alex is now going to play the intro for Bellew of the Week. Alex?
Hopefully so.
Okay, well,
Now, you fucking rat!
Okay, what's the value of the week?
So, Bellew of the Week is back, and it's back early on this week's podcast. Now, I've actually got 6 nominations this week, and I'll go to the guys for any guys that they've got for nomination before we get the final picks. First off the bat, Steve Bunce, last night's comments. Now, obviously reviewing the Wladimir Klitschko fight, that says Klitschko against Povetkin was a terrific fight. Fucking hell, I was almost at the end of a second bottle of wine after that during that fight.
It was a terrifying fight.
But... I think that might be what he meant there actually when I got that sent to me. He said it was a terrific fight. Maybe he must have meant a terrifying fight. Andre Ward. Now this is pure class. You know, he's talking about he's fighting Paul Smith now. He says we couldn't find Carl Froch, so we took on the next best guy, who is Paul Smith. Fuck me. Paul Smith isn't even the best fighter in his own postcode. Never mind the fucking super middleweight division. Number 3.
He had to be trolling when he said that, surely.
Oh, God knows. I mean, you know, he couldn't find Carl Froch. Ask NASA to find him with that nose. Anybody could find him with that nose. Amir Khan says, Chris Algieri win gets me closer to Floyd Mayweather or the Manny Pacquiao fight.
Oh, he's been saying that for about 4 years, hasn't he?
I thought that the Alexander fight was meant to get him this fight with Mayweather or Pacquiao. Aisha's going to be going daft on that fucking text chat right now.
You'll be getting death threats. You'll be getting death threats.
There we go. Bang on cue. There we go. Oh, you leave Khan out of this. No fucking chance. Now, I'm going to nominate the entire Sky Sports ringside cast this week. Now, I never watched it. I haven't watched the show for a while, actually, but just for that celebrity talk on Mayweather Pacquiao. And they even had Paul Merson on the fucking show. Hopefully Paul Merson hasn't got any fucking betting tips for you guys, actually. I'll tell you that right now.
He was on there with fucking Gaz from 2 Pints of Lager and a packet of crisps. Fucking, like you said, that Paddy Considine.
Lethal Bizzle.
Yeah, Lethal Bizzle. I've never even heard of him. Who else was it on there?
Ronnie O'Sullivan was on there.
Was Ronnie O'Sullivan? Fuck's sake.
I'm still fuming. Where's Max Branning? What have they done
Max
with him?
Max Branning still hasn't been on. I'm waiting for his expert opinion before I'm
Where's Pat Butcher?
Pat Butcher.
Paul, mate, you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say, I don't know if you watched it, but it was... I mean, I get what they're trying to do with it, but if you look at... This is the biggest fight in history, supposedly, and that's the best they can come up with. Will Mellor. Shocking.
Yep, terrible. Sorry, Paul, just when we've got you on there, mate, can you try and have a wee chat... a wee figure on when your sound, mate? You're still kind of coming through kind of crackly there.
Sounds like Stephen Hawking.
Yeah. Number 5, Leo Santa Cruz. And this comes via Floyd hype on Guillermo Rigondo. He says, he's a great fighter. He can make a fighter look bad, but he's not invincible. I can beat him. Hopefully everything goes good, and then he can move up in weight, and we can make this fight happen. Right, so basically you price yourself out of a fight for $3 million. I'm assuming he's claiming he's going to go up to featherweight, and so Rigondo's going to have to move up in weight. Well, that fight's never going to happen now, so Santa Cruz, stop talking fucking shit.
I hate that guy. I'm not even watching his shitty fights. I haven't watched his last 2.
Yeah.
It's just him and his stupid tash, him and his stupid bollocks that he spouts. He just gets on my nerves. He's just a knob.
That he named after Al Heyman.
Yeah, he's just an Al Heyman arse kisser.
He's actually that moustache actually looks like a paedophile. Actually, that wee silly tash.
It is
you know?
a pedo tash. Not that we're saying Leo Santa Cruz is a paedophile, but
it just looks like a pedo tash with that thing.
Alex is just basically saying he's a Mexican Jimmy Savile.
Mexican Rolf Harris.
Jimmy Savile.
Jimmy Savile.
Oh fuck me. Number 6. You know, I'm with you, Kurt. You see Santa Cruz, I ain't fucking going to be listening to this guy or watching him anymore.
No,
and stuff. I actually feel ashamed. I actually want to go and actually seek help because I actually was bigging this guy up about 2-3 years ago and stuff, and now he's just made me look like a complete cunt. And I can do that myself without having to back up guys like this motherfucker.
Yeah, but when he first came to our attention, people were seeing the comparisons with Margarito and calling him a mini Margarito. I think we should all be shot in the face for having them comparisons.
Yeah, exactly. I know, Margarito must be like fucking want to take a gun to his head. We've been actually just mentioning that guy in the same breath. It's a disgrace. Now, Jay McClory gets the vote at number 6. He says on Twitter, the proudest moment of my matchmaking career, At Derry Matthews, lightweight world champion.
Who's this guy?
Jay McClory.
Andy, and also on the same tweet it said, Liverpool's proud of you, Derry.
Yeah, Danny Vaughan and whoever other guy.
All 500 in attendance, very proud.
And the final nomination I've got this week is for Bernard Hopkins. He says on the Pacquiao Mayweather fight, the first 3 rounds of Mayweather Pacquiao will be like Hagler Herons. What a cracker. So that's the 6 that I've got this week. What about you, Steve? What you got this week?
I have nothing of use to contribute, I'm afraid.
No worries. Kurt?
I've got a couple. Mitchell Smith saying he'd beat Lomachenko right now.
Is that real?
It's real, yeah. He said he'd fancy his chances against Lomachenko.
That's class.
And,
well done.
I mean, the special one as well. Cal Brook picking Floyd Mayweather in the Pacquiao fight because of his home advantage.
Eh?
Fuck's sake.
Fucking hell. Alex?
Brian saying that he's nominating Frotch. I'm trying to figure out what he's nominating Frotch for.
I'm not surprised.
Just for being Frotch,
Just for being a cock-nosed twat, basically.
Yeah, probably.
Adam, you got anything, mate?
No, I just had that Derry Matthews one like you, so that's
right. Paul, you got any nominations, mate?
Yeah, hopefully you can hear me.
Still kind of bad there, mate.
Just hold on, let me try. Is that any better?
No.
Okay.
Apparently,
come back to me.
Frotch was saying that Ward didn't want the fight, and that Ward's ducking him.
See, I've got to be honest here, right? I'm going to stick up for Frotch here slightly, but what Ward got his fucking bluff called in that one. You know, Ward says, I'll fight him anywhere. Frotch says, okay, I'll fight you in Nottingham. And what happened? They backtracked off that one. So why, you know, if you fight him anywhere, fight him in fucking Nottingham. If that's where he wants to fight you, you'll fight him in Nottingham. I mean, I can understand the fact that he might get robbed or jobbed or whatever, but at the same time as well as, if it's not going to matter where you fight him, you fight him in Nottingham with neutral judges and officials, or fight him at Wembley, you're still going to get the same situation. Paul, we'll try you again, mate. You want to try again?
Yeah, is that any better?
Slightly better, mate, yeah.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, after the whole ticket fiasco last week, I was going to nominate Spencer Fearon for his saying he was going to get people over there for 1,500 quid. He then tweeted, I think earlier today or yesterday, I don't want to hear no more long talk over can you get tickets to Mayweather Pacquiao, with a picture of some tickets with all priced up at several £1,000s above the value that he said a few weeks back. So everyone that was involved in that ticket fiasco deserves a nomination.
Right. So, like, no, Paul, still going to be a bit kind of crackling off here, see if we can work on that, mate. Right, so that's the nomination we've got this week. So we've got, as Paul mentioned there, I think he mentioned it was the whole Matchroom ticket fiasco.
I think the whole ticket thing, even the Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao tickets, the fact that they put ticket touts have got weigh-in tickets. I think they're like $10, like face value. I think some of those are on ticket tout sites for $200, and that's fucking disgusting because it's for charity in the first place, but people are trying to sell those on for 20 times the face value. It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, very true. So this week we've got Mitchell Smith, Kell Brook, Carol Frotch, Steve Bunce, Andre Ward, Amir Khan, the entire Sky Sports ringside cast, Leo Ducka Cruz, Jay McClory, and Bernard Hopkins. Steve, who's got your vote this week?
Well, Leo Santa Cruz, originally I was going to go for him because he's gone beyond parody with his comments, but whoever threw the Mitchell Smith one in, that is just gold. I'm going to have to vote for Mitchell Smith this week.
Kurt, you're actually mentioning, should we nominate grown men paying to see two men weigh in? Anyway,
Brian King will be going to the weigh-in because that's as close to the fight as he's going to get.
Oh. Is he actually got a hotel yet, yeah?
Meow.
Yeah, he's got the hotels, but I think I'll get him on.
But as I say to him when he called in, it'd be fucking funny if he turned up at the hotel and it'd been double booked and he's out in the streets,
Shots fired there.
Yep. Kurt, who's got your nomination this week? Mitchell Smith's one up so far.
I'm going to go with Andre Ward because I would like to think he's trolling, but he obviously isn't, I don't think. And, he couldn't get the best guy out there, so he went for the second best, Paul Smith. That's a winner for me. It has to be.
I actually looked through the world rankings. Actually, you know, even Paul Smith is actually ranked lower than what do you call him? Oh, Matty's guy. What's his fucking name again? Rocky Field. Rocky Field's actually ranked higher than Paul Smith in the rankings, by the way.
Ward ducking Fielding.
He's not even the best super middleweight in his own household. He isn't even a fucking 168-pound fighter.
Ward don't want anything of the Rocky. He doesn't want nothing of him.
What do you mean, Matty's guy? Matty off here?
Yeah, Matty.
Friggin' hell, has he got a
Matty watched the prize fighter while he was smoking some weed one day, and he just fell in love with Rocky from Stockey. I don't know why. It's random. It's just totally random.
If you listen back to the archives, you'll actually hear me and Matty going at it. And I'm saying, listen, Matty, he is fucking shit, man. I'm telling you. So, Kurt voted for Andre Ward. Alex, who's got your vote, mate?
Got to go with Mitchell Smith, I think. Mitchell, I'll beat Lomachenko right now. Smith.
Adam.
I'm going for Hopkins. That Hagler-Hearns comparison is a good one.
That is a good one. That is a very good one. I really want to vote for. I'm going to vote for Andre Ward. So I think it's going to be a double award this week. I'm going to vote for Andre Ward, unless Paul's back on the line. We can make Paul's final vote.
Andre just giving Ward's a bad name here, isn't he? I'm changing my name. No way can I keep this name now.
Paul, if you give us a shout. Paul, if you're listening, maybe give us a shout on the Skype chat. Let us know who your vote is. See if you can maybe tip the balance to a winner here. So far, we've got a joint award winner between Mitchell Smith and Andre Ward.
You might vote for old Bernard Hopkins and make it a three-way thing.
Three-way split, yep.
Come on, vote for Mitchell. It's the only thing he's ever going to win, isn't it?
Yep, he's voted for Andre Ward. Well done, Paul. So, Andre Ward, sir, congratulations. You are our Bellew of the Week award winner. Would anybody on Twitter like to congratulate Andre Ward on his most significant achievement in the last 2 years? Bellew of the Week award. Congratulations, sir.
Will the whole of Oakland now stand still as he gets this award?
Oh, we need to stand and bow to him.
You have to wake him up first.
Right, just before we do get on to the main topic of conversation, is Rocco asked a question here. I was actually sitting thinking about it for a wee while, and I still can't think of one fight. But he's actually asking, since you've been big fans of the sport, what is the biggest fight you've missed watching live, and how or why? Just chime in if you've got anything you can think of.
I missed Cotto Martinez last year, and I had a decent bet on Cotto as well. I had to watch it in the morning, but I've got the best excuse going because I was shagging.
Well, I think couldn't me just now actually, if I remember rightly, because I remember getting involved in a bit of a street fight, cocked out my nut. But I think it was Ricky Hatton against Paulie Malignaggi. I think that was the biggest fight, shall we say. So, Steve, Kurt and Adam, Alex, and we'll get back to Paul as well, he's back on the call there. Steve, give me your one.
Most of them, I mean, if you're including the stuff that's on at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I mean, I would freaking don't stay up for any of them these days. So, I mean, De La Hoya, Mayweather, I mean, probably the biggest. I didn't stay up for that. I watched it the next morning. So, I mean, if it was on over here at a decent time, I can't think of anything that I would have. Maybe Froch Kessler. I don't think that's that big, is it?
What, the rematch?
The rematch?
Yeah, the rematch. Yeah, I don't think I watched that one live. When it was at a decent time, you know what I mean? But the stateside ones, yeah, I'd miss most of them these days. Yeah,
I'm a bit like that, but as I say, I tried to stay up last night, gave up, but next week I will be up for that one, I must admit. Alex.
I think he's be right back.
I think he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. All right, Paul, your sound is far better than mate. So we'll go right to you. What fight or biggish fight have you missed?
I think I missed Mayweather Guerrero, which I thought at the time was quite big, and also I didn't watch Froch Kessler 2. It was probably one of the biggest ones. I was out on a night out and trying to watch it in a crowded pub, and I couldn't be bothered, so I ended up giving up after about a round. So, but the Hatton Malignaggi one was quite good because that was the same. I had plans to come home at 2 a.m. And, by about 3:30 in the morning, you're still out. We got back for rounds 11 and 12, so we missed anything decent that happened. I think we got like literally the stoppage round 11. So it was, I've missed a few, but I try and get as many of the 4 a.m. ones as I can. Although I stayed up for Durrell Jack, and I really regret doing that.
See, I'll tell you how bad it was actually about that Durrell fight. I actually recorded it on Sky forgot that I actually recorded it, got up in the morning, downloaded it, watched it on the computer. I went through the television, looked through the plan, and I realised, oh fuck, I've got it recorded. So, deleted that shit. I think Paul's dropped off a call again. Adam, finally, mate, what fight for you?
To me, it's not the ones I've missed, it's the ones I've been stupid enough to get up and watch. And I'm changing Rocco's question a little bit, but I remember getting up to watch, I think Hopkins and who did he fight? Was it Shumenov? That was crap. It wasn't Shumenov. What was the WBA regular or super title holder from Kazakhstan?
Shumenov.
Oh yeah, that was pants. I regretted that. But I'm going off topic, so.
Oh, this still hurts me to this day, but I missed Sir Audley Harrison's glorious Mandalay Bay Resort debut in 2003. His victorious 4th round KO over some random dude.
Was that Big Sean Harris? No, what do you call Sean? Somebody he knocked out. I remember.
I think he fought at the Boardwalk Hall before. That was at Boardwalk Hall. This one's in Mandalay Bay. He fought.
Or was it the Robert Wiggins one? I can't remember.
We'll have to have a separate pod for that, Steve.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk after.
Well, talk after. I suppose the talk has now got to revert on to what the big fight next week. I can no longer hold it off. I've been put a ban on you guys for long enough now. I've got to let you off the leash. We've got to have our say, the predictions and the talk and all that. All the talking is going to stop this time next week. We're going to find out one way or another who is the best fighter of the generation. The biggest fight probably in the last 15, 20 years, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, whichever way you want to slice it. For the undisputed pound-for-pound title. Undisputed pound-for-pound title, welterweight championship of the world, belts, everything's on the line here, guys. Reputation, etc., etc. Now I'm just going to read out a couple of predictions here from our listeners here. Boxing Space is saying Floyd's timing will again prove decisive and could even get a KO. Mikey D saying I can't stop thinking Mayweather stoppage, probably the only person who does it, but I'll stick by it. Chris Blackman, I predict Mayweather should win 117-111 but gets jobbed 115-113 by the other two. Split decision for Pacquiao. Danny Robson says it will be a majority draw with a rematch in September. Remember, I told you. I've got quite a few others here which I'll read out a wee bit later on. This is what Danny's saying there about the majority draw. I'm starting to kind of come into the idea we may get a draw in this fight actually, but what I'm thinking is what we'll go off as at the start of the fight, guys, is how do you think this fight is going to start off? We're going to get a cagey, opening fencing for the first 3-4 rounds. By which time maybe we're going to get maybe 2 rounds apiece, then Floyd figures them out, or is Manny going to come out in seek and destroy mode?
It's going to be like Hagler Hearns. Oh no, sorry, that's already been mentioned.
Tense one for me. I think it'll be interesting, intriguing, but not exciting. One of the ones where you'd say, the fight wasn't that good, it was alright. If it wasn't, the fact that there was so much on the line, it was Mayweather, Pacquiao, it was all that stuff, I think it'll be very cagey, very tense, maybe not a lot of punches landed or even thrown in the early rounds.
Yeah, I think, the thing is people will probably point to the fact is that, Pacquiao's boogeyman, Paul, is Marquez, but at the same time, I don't think we can look at the Marquez fights between Pacquiao and Mayweather as some sort of kind of, dividing line as to how this fight's going to go, because at the end of the day it's 2 different versions of Marquez in those respective fights with Mayweather and Pacquiao, so I don't think we can actually use that, but I think Pacquiao's going to have problems. Simple fact is, unless Mayweather stands in front of him, he's going to have major problems trying to land anything clean on him, and it also depends on how long Mayweather's legs is going to hold out in this fight.
Yeah, I think people are looking at this too much as in the personalities of the fighters as to who they prefer and who they think is going to win. I just think that style-wise, I've said it for years, ever since this fight was talked about 5-6 years ago, I just don't think it works for Pacquiao. And I just think that the comparisons with the Marquez fights, you could always make triangles of fights and say, well, he beat him this way, so that means he's better than him. And that's not the case at all. I just think that from every advantage that Mayweather has in his fights, what he wants his opponent to do, that's everything that Pacquiao does. Throws lots of shots, comes straight at him. If Pacquiao does mix up his angles, Mayweather's faster, got faster feet, I think. So I just think that the style match will be the difference. I don't think it's anything other than that. And that's the same for any fight. This fight's no different to that.
Now, guys, the thing is, as well as if you look at the form book going into this fight, you would need to say Pacquiao has shown, more in his last couple of fights, but at the same time as Pacquiao's opposition in the last couple of fights hasn't been exactly great, whereas Mayweather's probably fought kind of the more upper echelon fighters. But what I will say about this is Mayweather has shown a bit of petulance in the last couple of fights, and this is what I'm starting to think that maybe mentally and physically he's maybe not the same fighter anymore, because obviously after the first fight with Maidana, he moaned about the referee, about the roughhouse tactics and stuff like that. So he gets his own way in the rematch, gets his pal Kenny Bayless to look after him in the rematch, even though both hands weren't tied up. Maidana was still trying to land punches and stuff, even with a free hand. I still think, even in that fight, when you seen him moaning about when Maidana supposedly bit him on the hand, how the hell that happened, I really don't know. I really do think if it ever comes in close, I don't think we're going to see. I think Bayless is going to break them up, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be much of a problem with having Bayless as the referee, because Pacquiao doesn't fight on the inside. He fights raiding tactics in and out. I don't really think that's going to really be much of a problem. I don't think, guys.
Who were the refereeing options? Because as far
Bayless
as I'm aware,
Weeks, I think.
Don't they offer both camps like 3 or maybe 4 selection of possibilities, and then the camps sort of run the rule over each one, and then communicate back between the commission and the promoter and all that, and then whoever's sort of left at the end gets the job. Is it not some kind of selection process like that?
I thought it was like that, but I think it was just 2 names were put forward, Tony Weeks and Kenny Bayless, but I might be wrong on that one.
Mm-hmm. But Jay Nady, he might have been alright.
I'd rather prefer Lewis Pabon, actually.
Terry O'Connor, was he in the mix?
He can't fit on the plane.
Ian John Lewis.
I'd be betting on a stoppage early in that one.
But anyways, there's no thing that the fact is that you've seen a bit of petulance from Mayweather. He doesn't like it. The pressure on him, he's looking for the referee to kind of help him out. He's complaining about getting his hand bitten and stuff like that. You think we'll maybe see something similar from Mayweather this time round?
Well, no, because he's not going to do that. He's not in with the kind of opponent who's going to do that. Pacquiao doesn't lead with his elbows. Pacquiao doesn't hit shots behind the back of the head. He doesn't fight in that sort of aggressive Maidana style. I mean, Maidana's corner were telling him, foul, hit him low, hit him on the shoulder, hit him behind the back of the head. They were telling him that, and Pacquiao is too good of a boxer to fight that way. So I don't think he'll need to be petulant. I don't think he probably have a word with the referee and be in his ear, as he always is, but it's a completely different fight to Maidana. I don't see the need. I don't see him being caught in the head with headbutts. I don't see him being caught low. I think it'll be a much cleaner fight than that.
Me personally, I just think it's a close fight. I don't see. I know some people are saying Floyd is going to dominate and all this and that, but I don't think Pacquiao is a guy you're going to dominate. I think the volume is the key for him. I think he brings things to the table that Mayweather hasn't seen for such a long time. He's facing a lot of these, he's facing good opponents, but they just don't bring the tools to the table. I mean, not only is he facing a southpaw, but he's facing a guy who's got fast feet and quick hands. Now, when was the last time he faced someone like that? And I know it's exactly the same for Manny. When has he faced someone as good as Floyd? And that's why the match is so interesting. 5 years ago, I think Floyd wins this fight, and I think he wins it. I think the first half of the fight he's even, and he takes it away. Now, I think it's a close fight, and even though I'm still thinking Floyd will just nick it, I think we're going to get split decision, majority decision. We're going to get a lot of bitching afterwards where people think that Pacquiao's done enough. I think you're going to have a fight where Pacquiao is the one with the volume. He's maybe missing a lot, but he's throwing a lot. Mayweather is the guy with the eye-catching shots, the straight right hand and stuff like that. But it's going to be what do you like? The guy who's throwing more and making the fight, or the guy who's on the back foot and landing the eye-catching shots now and again. And I just think it's important for Pacquiao to be throwing and not fade in the second half of the fight, like he did in the Bradley fight. Even though we all know, he beat Tim Bradley in the first fight, in those last 3 rounds he faded to me, and I don't know if that was because he thought he had the fight in the bag, but he looked like he was tired to me. And I think if you watch Floyd's fights, look at him with Hatton, another guy who had quick feet and troubled him, I thought, early, Maidana and Oscar De La Hoya. All those 3 fights after 6 rounds I thought were pretty even, but Floyd adapted and took it away. And that's why in the second half fight, Pacquiao has to be there with the volume, because if he fades, then Floyd's going to take it away. But I just think it's not going to be easy for Floyd, and no way can I see this being anything other than a close fight.
Zab Judah even gave Mayweather something to think about in the first 4 rounds. I'm not saying he particularly troubled him, but he gave him something to think about with his speed and his southpaw stance. But obviously Judah fades as the fight goes on.
The first caller actually on this fight will actually be in attendance in Las Vegas. Whether he's going to be in attendance in the fight is another thingy, but he'll be there in spirit anyway. I don't know if you're still sporting that wee pedo tash you've got there, Brian, but welcome to the show anyway. Give me your take for next week, mate. When you're flying out?
They kind of believe. I really believe. They think they good. I know I'm great.
When you're flying out, mate?
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning?
Fuck you, Adam. Adam out.
You nominated Frotch for no reason for Bellew.
I nominated him. You know why he get nominated? Because he turned around and says Ward didn't want to fight. Ward wanted to fight. Maybe didn't want it in Nottingham. He wanted to fight. Frotch is the one that vacated his shitty belt. He's the one that pulled out of negotiations. And he also says that Gennady Golovkin doesn't want to fight at 168 when he's already said that he'll prepare to take the fight. So that's the Bellew of the week. He's a cunt.
He's scared to come to the fight, the world famous fighting city of Nottingham.
Never mind.
He can stick in Oakland for the rest of his life. No one gives.
What's the big deal? England's England, but he could have fought in London.
Wait a minute.
Floyd,
we're not talking about cock-nosed twat or fucking fraud of God, okay? What I'm saying to you is, give me your take on Mayweather Pacquiao, starting now.
Oh, here we go. It's going to be an easy fight. We all know this. I know the fucking Pactard Asylum are fucking trying to set themselves on fire now because of it, but
I'm not pumped for this fight.
Well, you're not pumped for any fight unless it's some cunt about the size of a Jap's eye. But I honestly think he's going to fight more orthodox. He's going to fight more up straight. He's not going to do the shoulder roll. He's going to hit a high guard.
He can't shoulder roll anyway.
He can do what he wants. He's TBE.
He can't do it against fucking a left-handed fighter. He can't do it.
I'll decide.
You'll decide.
So he's just going to hit a high guard, right? And what Manny's going to have to do, he's going to have to start going to the body a bit more because there's not going to be much a target for him to going to do. If it's Mayweather going to do, he's just going to pull back a bit and he's just going to pop shot all night, and then you're going to get fucking Manny start getting frustrated like he does, and he's going to start fucking throwing haymakers and that's when he's going to get took out later on. No, I heard
Mayweather pulling back. He better pull back quicker than his fucking foreskin then, because if he pulls back too slow in a straight line, he's going to get fucking nabbed.
But he doesn't. But this is it. If he does this, if he does that, he never ever does that. He hardly ever gets hot. But I heard you turning around and saying that people can't read much into the Marquez fights because it's two different Marquezes. And I don't know. Well, but you're fucking mentioning Judah, and you're mentioning Madan, and you're mentioning Hatton.
So Judah was mentioned because of the left-hander.
Right. Well, that's exactly saying like, well, one Manuel Marquez is like a counter-puncher. I know he's more attacking, but he's still if you can't read into Marquez, you can't read into the likes of Judah. Because what happened after a couple of rounds, after they adjusted a bit, he stopped using the shoulder roll against Judah, and he dominated the fight. I know Pacquiao isn't like Judah; he's far better. But if you look at the volume of punches as Pacquiao's been thrown, I think over the last couple of years it's nearly enough dropped in half. He doesn't throw as many punches either. So it's going to give Mayweather a lot more time to kind of pick his punches.
At the same time as well, you got to agree though, if you look at the Marquez fight between the two guys, as against Floyd, it just certainly wasn't the same fight. I mean, talking about a guy coming up here from lightweight to fight Mayweather at welterweight.
I agree with that.
Compared to a guy who's probably on the juice against the Pacquiao in the fourth fight.
Well, this is the exact same thing then. Pacquiao put him on his arse 3 times in the first round. Was Pacquiao not juicing then? Or is it only because Pacquiao...
Ariza wasn't with him at that time though.
But that doesn't matter. It could be juicing at any point. Is it because Pacquiao gets knocked out, it means that Marquez is juicing, but Pacquiao wasn't?
No, but I think you can look at Marquez and say that it was a difference in his physique.
Aye, but...
At 40-odd-year-old, in that ripped condition.
I honestly believe if MD with a bit of power hot Pacquiao with that sort of shot, the way Pacquiao was coming in, he was getting put to sleep anyway. It was just a fucking perfect punch. I watched that about 5-6 times this morning. It's an absolute perfect punch.
He did it in sparring and build up to that fight, I actually remember rightly as well.
I mean, you seen it in that fight. He was trying to pick that punch constantly. He was constantly looking for it.
Well, that punch would have laid any cunt out there. That's what
I think. I don't think... Well, he was just fighting fire with fire, wasn't he? Pacquiao was fucking right out his bollocks full of steroids for years, and Marquez like, oh, here you cheeky wee bastard, I'm going to be jagging my dick and all. So every cunt was into it. But I just think it's going to be the exact same as everyone else. The first 6-7 rounds will be competitive, then TB is just going to take right over, and at the end of it, it's going to be, and still, and then you're all going to be like, it's fucking shite, and running and start setting about cunts, not keep going to be fucking raging.
Well, as I say, the Mayweather, the show when the fight got announced, I said before, people are like, well, you're talking shite. Mayweather's a 6-round fighter. Okay, he'll spend 6 rounds, the first 6 rounds, try to figure it out, and then the 6 rounds he'll put the foot down or start kind of like picking his spots and stuff like that. This is what I said before. I picked Mayweather back in the day, and I picked Mayweather right now, but I think it'll be a bit slightly closer on the cards than it would have been in the first time round about.
Well, I'm going to put money on it anyway. I'll just wait till I go over there. Just wait till all the Filipinos go there and start lumping on Pacquiao and Mayweather gets a bigger price and all that, and I'll be like, give me some of that. Or something. I'm just going to pay Vegas right here in the bookies.
Well, Brian, you've kind of led me in there. I'll let you lot do all the analysis. Covered it pretty well. I actually think that Mayweather will win with a degree of ease. I think Pacquiao's lost the X factor since he got knocked out by the juicer a few years ago, and I do honestly think he's lost the X factor. I mean, knocking Chris Algieri down 5 or 6 times and not stopping him.
See if you look at it, Pacquiao, other than Cotto, I don't
give a shit about compassion.
I don't class Cotto as a win, right? Because it was a catch weight. Fuck him, right? Pacquiao's not been stopping empty at welterweight. He's not that.
He's not welterweight though.
I know.
Neither is Floyd.
Aye, but his power's not.
Floyd's massive. Compared to Pacquiao, Floyd is massive.
Aye, because he's built himself into the weight. Pacquiao just went through the weight. It's like fucking taking drugs.
We've got
who was Mayweather linked to again? Alex, you know that answer, mate.
Heredia?
No.
Don Hale.
Don Hale had anti-aging clinics all over the country, at least 6 or 7, I believe. I get that article if you want.
Vegas as well.
Vegas, Detroit, Michigan.
Who wants to look old? Nobody.
Anti-aging, testosterone, TRHT replacement therapy.
We all fucking need that in our life.
We could be here all day on the drugs, though, to be honest.
Yeah, true.
I know Brian was saying about, he's going to get over there and wait for the Filipino money. I think we've reached the tipping point.
They'll be betting crazy just now, won't they, the Filipinos?
Well, and the tipping point is all the money.
It's got to 47, is it not?
No, it's back out to 1-2 now. So the back end of last week, you could get one bookie in particular, Coral, went 8-15. Oof. Mayweather, that's the biggest price he's been since the announcement of the fight. They've had to shorten that back to 1-2. I know I know the difference between 8-15 and 1-2 isn't a lot, but the tipping point is a lot of the money. Well, basically 90% of the money has all been for Pacquiao. That trend will probably continue. So as the money comes, the bookies have got a decision to make. Do they carry on to cut Pacquiao's price, and as a result, Mayweather's price gets bigger? But as soon as Mayweather's price, as Brian mentions, gets to around the 4-7, that's when they're gonna start attracting the money of the professional gamblers, not just the people who have been caught up in the hype of the fight or the fans. That's when they're going to start attracting the real big boys. So they've got a decision to make. Do they risk putting Floyd out to that price, or do they continue to take the money on Pacquiao? So that's where we are with that. But from a betting perspective, and that's where I kind of come into play. This has been absolutely incredible, really. I've never seen anything like this in the time I've been following it. The amount of markets on offer is crazy. You can bet on who throws the first punch. You can bet on. I've not seen that before. You can bet on will it be a right hand or a left handed punch to throw first. You can bet on
fucking spot betting, you dirty bastards trying to get everybody hooked.
You can bet on percentage of Mayweather's landed punches.
I saw that, yeah.
You can, and the same for Pacquiao. You can bet on who lands the most punches. There really is, a shed load of different markets to go at. So as we speak now, Mayweather's still 1-2. Like I said, one bookmaker did dare to go bigger than 1-2. Lasted about 3 days. So maybe we have reached the tipping point. 1-2 might be the genuine price. I don't know how it will go in Vegas, because at the end of the day, Vegas prices and British prices, they don't take any notice of each other. They don't care. They're not interlinked. They don't care what each other do. So Mayweather decisions 8-11. I know a lot of people have been saying about, we might have some sort of controversy for the rematch. But if you fancy the rematch, this is a decent one that I found actually. You can get a rematch within a year is 13-8, which ain't a bad idea really. We know we've got September, other than maybe Khan that don't deserve the fight.
Ramadan.
we've got, there is quite a potential that there could be a rematch. So 13-8 to be the rematch might be one to look at.
I don't think there will be. I was positive there would be a rematch, but because of the amount of shitfest that's happened over this.
Will the rematch be in May though? I mean, I don't know when the actual weekend is.
No, it'd be September, the second week of September. But
you're thinking next
Independence.
May? Yeah, I'm thinking next May. Say it's not this September.
It's the first week. It's the first weekend of May again.
The 5th of September would be the first weekend. It's a Saturday. Yeah.
No, it's the second weekend of September and the first weekend of May.
12th of September then.
I think what Alex is saying.
Would that be after a year in accordance with the bet? Yeah.
Right, so May 16, the first weekend in May 16 is
May 16.
It's Sunday the 1st.
So the 7th of May.
No, it's the first. It's the first weekend.
So it'll need to be the 30th of April then.
Yeah. Good point by Alex. So if it is the 30th of April, then that bet might be a goer. Point deduction: Mayweather 16-1, Pacquiao 20-1. That was another interesting one. There's a few people, and including I put out for predictions earlier on Twitter. We'll come back to that, but there's a few people calling for Pacquiao for Mayweather stoppage. I mean, Mayweather hasn't stopped anyone since Ricky Hatton. I'm not counting Victor Ortiz. Mayweather's not stopped anyone since 2007, and that's. I think you're asking a lot. This is the biggest fight, and he's going to
see why people are coming at that is because you can't read much into like the training videos you get to see because you barely see any, right? But I've said this before. Mayweather looks as if he's training totally different. His upper body's a lot fucking bigger, and what he's doing is he's going harder on the heavy backs and stuff like that.
He's got a new friend, that's why.
Probably fucking TMT Heredia. The guy's fucking alright. He's alright, Maverick. Well. I'm going to get a selfie with him. Selfie. I just think that he's obviously going to still move, but I think that the way, you can't tell, right, but the way he's videos and that looked as if he's all about going for the body a lot more, like body punches and stuff like that, because he is laying into the heavy bag and he is using hooks constantly. So I think he's going to adapt and change his style.
But if you think he is going to become more powerful, one that caught my eye, Pacquiao to be knocked down is 4-1. So I'm not expecting Mayweather to stop him, but to be knocked down, as he kind of jumps in, jags in and out, and catches a right hand, that may be one. But the final point on the odds, the best price I could find, and it is a bit more difficult to find with Ladbrokes. Mayweather unanimous decision is 7-5.
It was odds on a wee while ago.
It's kind of disguised. I don't know whether many of you guys use Odds Checker, but it's kind of disguised in a different market. It's under final judgment. So there's two kind of very similar markets. There's the exact method of victory, which is UD, majority decision, blah blah. But if you go under final judgment, that Ladbrokes only 7-5. Considering that Mayweather to win on points is odds on anyway. If you go the UD route 7-5, I think that's the best value on offer.
That's printing money. That's basically fucking retirement.
Just before we let you go, mate, are you going to go to any of the undercard fights? Any of the shows on Thursday and Friday?
I've got tickets for the Beltran fight.
That's the Friday, isn't it?
I'm not going to
the on Thursday.
I'm not fuck TMT. I'm not going to that card. I went if they were getting free weigh-in tickets again, but they didn't do that because they just started robbing every cunt. But I think. We know somebody that's going over that's going to be working in the corner and at the Beltran card. I don't know what fight he's going to be working in the corner, but we're going to meet up with him.
Who's Beltran fighting?
Some
Japanese
dude,
guy.
Some dude they know.
The Japanese guy, no, Takahiro
Io or something like that.
Takahiro Io for a vacant WBO title,
aye. And that's Yusuke's on the card. I mean, I've only seen him twice and all that, but he's alright to watch. He's quite entertainment. He can punch. Yeah. So it'll be good. I'll be telling Beltran that he fucking get robbed and then I'll laugh in his face and say, "Mind you broke Ricky's jaw and you still get fucked."
Anyway, mate, take it easy over there, right? Plenty of cocaine and plenty of drink, mate.
Cheer up.
All the best, mate. That's Brian King, as you know, he'll probably be in attendance here next week. Just to let the listeners know, a couple more predictions in here. From Dave Shape, Mayweather wins on points. He won't have it all his own way, though. LDN box, Pac win to set up a Gatti War type trilogy, which will see them bow out as legends and names will be linked together for future generations. Lee Davis, I'm definitely going Mayweather. It will be points with a few exciting exchanges in the earlier rounds. Any cruises to points victory. Robbie Mitchell, a draw wouldn't surprise me, but I'm going with Floyd by knockout. Jack Burns, Pacquiao by decision, outworks Mayweather, who struggles with his high volume and variety of punches. I also predict a Leeds fans pelts the ring with beach balls. Okay, that'll be interesting to see. Paul, do you think Brian will be going to run about there in Las Vegas shouting, "Let's go, champ! Let's go, champ"? Seems to be right up for it, eh?
Yeah, no, he's been on about it for a long time, and to be fair, I think we're all pretty much agreed that if we all had the spare cash and we all had the spare time, I think next week we'll all be very jealous of people that are over. As much as we try and talk the fight down, and in certain ways, I think it is that one fight that you'll always be able to say you were there, or in Brian's case, you're watching it on a 12-inch micro telly at someone's house.
Probably watching it on a mini laptop or something like that.
Yeah, or what they're doing the old, asking us for links at 4, team streaming it at 4 in the morning, or listening to it on the radio or on the BBC World Service. I think it's just to be out there. I mean, I've looked at the other night, like I say, when the tickets went on sale and the weigh-in tickets went on sale and everything else. The excitement and the panic as well, because everyone obviously got screwed out. But it was good to see. It's good to see so many people wanting to watch the sport. It's great.
It just shows you, though, I mean, the hardcore fans that have kind of kept these guys or backed these guys right at the very beginning, when it comes down to the big mega fight, they get fucked over. It's always the same. Money rules, as Mayweather would say. But I want to get back to this thing about the guys, about this technical aspect of the fight. Now, the thing is this, right? People are going to be, Mayweather's technically proficient, which is true, very true. Pacquiao is maybe classed as more like a slugger, but he's got his moments where he's technically proficient. But I don't think you can say that Mayweather, Pacquiao has had his moments, but at the same time as he's fought guys like Morales, very competent technician, beat him. Barrera, very good technician. He'd also beat Bradley, who knows his way around a bit of boxing ring. You've got funny feedback there. Marquez, we've mentioned the Marquez fights, the first 3 fights, he won the first 2, regardless of how you seen it go. He got the nod, he got the draw in the 3rd fight, and he got wiped out in the 4th fight, even though he was coming on strong, potentially looking for it. As Kurt says, I really don't see Mayweather absolutely dominating this fight from a technical standpoint, guys. Steve, you want to take that one up? We lost Steve. Adam, Alex, you want to take that one up?
What? Floyd's not going to dominate technically, you think?
Yeah.
I mean, again, Floyd's just such a... This is why I think this fight is still so good. I mean, I know it's still got a lot of its critics, and I was one of those critics, but I do think that Floyd has that... he's got the ability to outclass him. I still think that he's got levels that we're not seeing because maybe he's not really taking the opponent seriously, like against Maidana. But again, I don't really think that he will completely outclass Pacquiao because they are the best. They've been proven to be the best in the past, God knows how many years now, and it's finally coming to clash, and that's why I think it's going to be a closer fight. I mean, Floyd very may well just figure Pacquiao out from the first round and say, right, I've got you, and then he beats him. Pacquiao does have the repertoire and the variety of punches and the combinations to stop that though, and I think that even if Floyd does think he's got him figured out, I think that, he might get a bit of a late rally from Pacquiao. So I think you're on point there. I don't think that people that are saying that Pacquiao's going to knock him out or Floyd's going to knock him out or school him 120, 108, I think they're just being fanboys and knobheads. It's definitely a close one for sure.
Joining us on the call now, we've got Dick Taylor. Dick, you there, mate?
Hello.
How you doing?
Adam out.
Leader of the Adam Out campaign. Yes.
I wonder. I feel like I'm under a lot of pressure being the founder of Adam Out.
Yeah. Founder and only member. So yeah.
Well, you say that. I think we had plenty to back him, but I think we're gonna have to call it off now. We're gonna have to let Adam get on with his betting. He's a valuable contributor.
Well, the first question to you, Dick, is: are you pumped for this fight yet? Or are you like me? You kind of like sitting on the fence, kind of waiting to see if you kind of get up for it for maybe midnight on, Sunday, May 3rd or something.
I was a bit, to be honest. Up until probably a couple of days ago, to be honest. I wasn't really not as hyped as some people were, but I think now it's sort of got to fight week. I am pretty excited, but I was just thinking today though, like, to be honest, I think there's a much higher chance of it being just like you were saying before, just a cagey fight and a bit boring, to be honest. Not many punches, because especially with Mayweather, he's just going to be more cautious in this fight than he's ever been before. So I just don't see how it's going to be exciting, to be honest. And with Pacquiao, I know he's obviously going to be trying to jump in and out and stuff, but I'm not sure. I don't see him being able to hit him enough. But that's why I think there's going to be obviously so much mourning and complaining about the cards after this, because I don't think he's going to hit him much, but obviously he's going to just throw. I think he'll definitely throw a lot more punches than Floyd. So you're just going to get people bitching. People like Brian, who fucking love the defensive stuff, love his defense and stuff. He's just going to be mourning if he wins it because of his work rate compared to Floyd. But
a lot of it happened after the first Bradley fight, didn't it? A lot of people picked apart the performance of Pacquiao and said that, look, he missed quite a lot of these shots, and he skimmed it, and when the commentators are saying, oh, great shot by Pacquiao, he missed it. And I think we're going to get a lot of that against Floyd. I think there's going to be Pacquiao missing a lot of shots, or cuffing and hitting the shoulders, hitting the gloves or something, and it's going to be about whether or not you score those particular shots, and whether you give him the bonus of the work rate as well. So I think you're definitely right, it's going to be controversial.
I don't think Pacquiao needs to get disheartened if he is missing or getting shoulders and arms and gloves and that, because we've seen people score against Mayweather recently he's been on the wrong side of some controversial, or what we considered controversial, judging. So I think Pacquiao, if he's got the mindset to just continue throwing, even if he's only landing a small percentage, we've seen with judges in the past that it can work against Floyd.
Need to remember as well is Chino had him hurt in that rematch. Now, if Pacquiao can somehow land something through the middle there and pounce upon it, you just don't know. Maybe get a knockdown or something like that. I don't see a knockout in any sort of way or shape or fashion. Derek, you see it going the distance?
Yeah, definitely. There's no chance that either of them are going to stop each other. I mean, neither of them had a stoppage for a long time, and Pacquiao at this weight anyway, he's not gonna stop him. Plus, people, I don't think Floyd, you've got to show him a bit of respect now as well for his chin. When you think with Mosley, that was a pretty heavy shot, but both of them were heavy shots, and he took that. And then the punch that Maidan hit him with after the bell, that was full-blooded, that, and it hurt him, but it didn't sort of knock him down or anything. So I mean, you got to give him a bit of credit for that. But you were saying before about Marquez, about comparing the Marquez fights, but I just think that's like style. That was just like the style of Marquez and Pacquiao was just perfectly fitted for those two to have, the kind of fights that they did. But with Mayweather, it's just different styles completely. Like, you can't look into that fight at all. I don't think you can't look into the Marquez fights.
Yeah, but the reason why I brought it up is because I've heard, I know Marquez isn't black, but I've heard people say that Pacquiao struggles with technical, slick black boxers and stuff. Well, Marquez isn't black, but he's a slick technical boxer. But I've mentioned other names there: Barrera, Morales, Bradley. Guys like that. Guys like that. He's beat these guys. They're technically proficient guys. So I think Pacquiao, saying that Pacquiao could be technically outboxed, I don't think it's going to be as wise what people think it is.
With Bradley, I don't think he doesn't get enough credit for Bradley, really. I don't think, because before that, it's like people just sort of overlook it completely. But I know he's not Mayweather defensively, but Bradley's still a good fighter, and people just don't really look into that one. Always a reason why.
Bradley's a solid win on paper, but he was shit in the second fight, Bradley. Whether Pacquiao directly caused that, obviously, with his performance, but Bradley was shocking.
It was the build up to that fight. He just didn't feel respected enough, and he decided he was going to go in there and fucking show how it was done. But I think he got injured in that fight as well, did he not, at some point? I think he ended up with a calf injury or something. Restricted his movement. Derek, mate, give me your final prediction before we let you go.
Well, I think, to be honest, obviously I want Pacquiao to win, And I think if he wins, it's going to be, people are going to mourn about it because I don't think he's going to hit. I don't think he's actually going to land that many punches. But I think obviously they're going to just try and throw as many punches around as they can. And I don't think Pacquiao is going to fade as much like, some of you were talking about other fighters have. I don't think he's going to fade that badly. So, it's like, my head says Mayweather, to be honest, but obviously I'm desperate for Pacquiao.
Stop fencing.
I want to say Pacquiao, obviously, but I'm just saying I do think, if you're sensible, you would say Mayweather, but I'm still obviously going to go for Pacquiao, and Brian's a prick, and I hope he has a shit time in Vegas. I hope this house party he's going to, I hope he gets there, and I hope he gets locked in the basement and misses the fight. I hope it's not what he thinks it's going to be.
You're going to get hammered now for that.
He's going to get locked in the basement.
Poor Brian's going to get locked up like Joseph Fritzl's daughter, eh? Bloody Jesus Christ.
Let's hope so. No, I hope he has a shit time anyway.
That's proper hate, that is. It's proper hate.
No problem. Cheers for that, Dick.
Showing his true colours there, Dick.
Right, that's enough of it.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Just got some more predictions coming in through here. I've got one in from... Who's this from? Stuart Jones says, can't decide. Felt Floyd points last couple of years if they fought, but closer fight is drawing. Feel Pacquiao could outwork him to a decision, but guess I'll stick with Floyd on points, split decision. Joseph Sale says Pac-Man will win the early rounds, then Mayweather will start to time him and it will become one-sided. That's what I'm kind of thinking. Arvind Panzer says Mayweather to come off the canvas to win on points. That's interesting. Titchler says Mayweather on points, maybe split decision. And Thomas Heron says Mayweather via UD. I think, Adam, you've got some other predictions as well.
Yeah, I've got Nathan Hathaway at Nathan Half10, Floyd SD with one dubious scorecard. I've got Zico at Zico Nomics, Mayweather straightforward UD. Rocco has been on. Hope I'm wrong, but Floyd win points or late stoppage. My conspiracy, majority draw. One of my friends from work who is more of a football guy, which is good getting involved. Nicholas Jenkins at Jenko82. Hope Manny wins, but think Floyd gets a decision. I think that's what a lot of people are thinking, as we've just deck on as well. Adam Tinsley at Adam Tinsley 90. That's not connected. We've got Paul McAllister. I thought he might be ringing in tonight, but he said pushing the boat out. I'm calling a controversial draw. Big rematch in September. Well, if that's the case,
that one.
He needs to have a look. At James Hay 12, Floyd stops him late on reason. Alex Ariza and his ways in inverted commas. Oates at Oates Daguna. Mayweather KO 10. Pac starts fast and nicks the first few rounds. Mayweather figures him out and breaks him down from there on. And then finally we've got Nicholas Edge at Nedge 88. Predictable, but Mayweather UD. Manny maybe up after 5, but Floyd will get his timing right and cruise through the championship rounds, pretty much like what you said as well, Andy.
Yeah. Lady Ox says Manny wins and finishes off by saying that is all. Don't think any callers coming on just now, but I'm sure we've got a couple of questions
We've
here.
got Paul coming on.
Paul McAllister.
No, the other Paul.
What one's this? I'm missing the names of all these Pauls.
Paul Webb. Press pass Paul.
No, we've got a Kelbrook fan.
I'm AA1.
Was Paul's surname Alexander or something?
Ainsley, I think.
Ainsley, okay.
Paul Ainsley 90 is here, whatever it is on Twitter.
See there. Paul, you there?
Right, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, mate. Quick question for you, mate. How many times will a casual fan make some vomit-inducing comment linking Joshua to the Mayweather-Pacquiao winner somehow?
I'm going to go for about 17 an hour.
As I say to Brian and Dick, are you pumped for this fight, mate?
I wasn't. I'm starting to
come round.
Starting to come round now. Getting ready for TBE to just add to the legacy.
You know, I don't want to add into this TBE shite. Tell me something. How's he TBE? Break it down for me. Come on, I'm going to look forward to this one. Like, where's my fucking notes? Wait a minute. Hang on, just give me a second to get my notes. I've got a fucking folder here. Right, fire away.
This TBE thing, he doesn't even believe it himself.
Fucking right, he doesn't.
It's just clever. See, it gets people wound up. It's another reason for people to get pissed off with him and then watch and fool themselves into thinking that Manny's going to win next week. So appear to watch him get beat, then he doesn't get beat, and then same again. He can just carry on calling himself TBE.
The thing is, people call me a Mayweather hater, which is probably right enough, but to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of Pacquiao in all honesty either. I mean, I prefer, as Brian says, like the little guys with the small jab size, but the thing is this, Mayweather gets defeated next week. Does that really affect his legacy?
Yeah, probably quite badly, I would say. Because I think a lot of it's been pinned on not being beaten. I think if he got beat, it'd be... I think it depends how he gets beat. I think if he just gets absolutely wiped out, or if he gets beat pretty clearly, which neither of the situation can see, it'll be bad. But I think if the judges rob him, and I think they've been trying more and more in recent fights, then I don't think it'd be as bad. But I think, personally for him, if he went and got legitimately beaten, I think, because he sort of built this aura of invincibility, he sort of buys into that a lot. So I think if someone were to go and beat him,
losing to the one guy that has been sort of bane of his existence for the past 5 years.
Well, I'm just looking at I want to mention about the judges actually, just as you mentioned there, Paul. Right, you've got Burt Clements, Dave Moretti, and Glenn Fieldman as the judges. Now, I've not had a chance so far to have a look through their records recently, but is there anything from you guys that stick out that maybe some dodgy scorecards off them recently? I noticed Clements scored Bradley Chavez in favour of Bradley, so there's not really a big dispute there. I mean, Bradley won that fight, in my personal opinion.
Wasn't there a judge on there who didn't score the Pacquiao fight, the first round against Marquez? He didn't score it 10-6, he scored it 10-7. Isn't that not Moretti? It's one of the other two, isn't it?
Hang on, mate. I'll just give me a second to have a quick look at it.
That was
the first fight,
I think.
Yeah, that was the first fight. So, first fight against who, mate? Sorry, Marquez.
So Pacquiao fought Marquez, the first fight.
That was the draw.
I'm sure someone said today, the draw. But
Clements,
the reason it was...
Burt Clements got it 113.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't the first round 10-6 with the 3 knockdowns. He gave it a 10-7.
Yeah. Third judge Burt Clements had it 113. His scoring included a 10-7 opening round because he admitted later he did not realise he could have given a 10-6 round. This is a professional fucking judge you're talking about here. He didn't know he could score at 10-6.
I think someone I think it was Box Nation in the last couple of weeks mentioned that some judges won't score it at 10-6 because they think it's too far of a disadvantage. The minimum they'll score is a 10-7. So it might not be. I mean, he's admitted it obviously after it was a mistake. Maybe it was, but that's possibly the thinking behind it within the judging community, if you like.
But then you'll get those same judges that will still score a 10-8 for a flash knockdown in a round where the guy who got knocked down was absolutely dominating the round. I mean, the system in that sort of situation is completely fucked. There needs to be these sort of exceptions, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you get knocked down twice, it's 10-7. If you get knocked down 3 times, it's 10-6. If you get knocked down 4 times, it's 10-5. That's just how it should be. You can't pick and choose. And obviously, that 1 point, if you'd have given it the other way, would have given it to Marquez. It would have given it to Pacquiao. Sorry. So Pacquiao would have won the first fight, or certainly would have been an advantage to have. So, but the others, I mean, Moretti's been around forever, and he's. Obviously, there's no, with any judge that's as experienced as them, they're going to have probably a couple of questionable cards. But I don't think the judges or the referees going to make any impact on the fight. I think we don't want it to. We don't want it to be talking about the judges or the ref at all. The fight needs to be whoever wins. It needs to be clear. I don't want to have hours of arguing and weeks of arguing and all the faff that goes with it. We need a clear, correct decision for this fight.
I agree with that. I mean, I don't want another fallout after the Pacquiao-Bradley first fight and stuff. I mean, it's not going to do our health any good, etc. We need a clear and concise winner, or we need a fight. If it's going to go to a draw, we need to have a fight where everyone can agree on, that was a close fight, a couple of tight rounds here and there and stuff. A draw is probably a fair result. We'll get a rematch in September. I have no problem with that. But we've got to get, either way or other, I think we've got to get a clear winner just to end the argument once and for all, and then we can just go on with our lives after that.
I don't think that, I think with this, I'll mention it, I think it was earlier today on Twitter, I can't see the judges messing up here. I think this is so big, I think they're going to be told pretty frequently next week. You'd assume by the commission that they can't drop the ball here. But like, I think Dave Moretti, he's the one who sticks out because someone was basically whinging about the officials over there. Dave Moretti somehow scored the third Pacquiao Marquez fight to Pacquiao.
I had that draw. No, honestly.
When you look, I don't know how you got that a draw, but I still think that's an awful scorecard. But I think, as it's being said, I think all of them you can find out something bad with each one of them. But I think with Bayless for this, I don't really think he's going to be much of a problem.
Did any of you have Lara beating Canelo?
I did.
You did. Well, Moretti
I did as well.
Moretti had 115-113 for Canelo.
Yeah, but
that was a very hard fight to score. To be fair, I remember watching it at the time, and that was an absolute mare to try and work out who was winning what. And like I said, you don't want close rounds. When it's a close round, I've got no issue with one judge seeing it a different way, especially as they are on different sides of the ring. But if 95% of people watching it at home have it one way, and those three have it a different way, that's when you start having a real problem.
Yeah. I knew Lara wasn't going to get it. When you know now, if you're beating Alvarez, you've got to win at least 10 rounds. If you don't win 10 rounds against Alvarez, you're not going to get it.
But then again, I think it's the Vegas judging. So one thing that Floyd's guilty of, and that's why he doesn't have as many 120, 108 style fights as you think, because he's guilty occasionally of doing just not enough to obviously win rounds. So I remember when he fought Alvarez, everyone went, oh no, it was 120, 108. Well, I didn't have it that way. I had it 118, 108 because there were two rounds. I think one was round 10 where he just sort of switched off. And if he does that too many times, the judges will instantly go with Pacquiao because Nevada always likes aggression. Nevada judges will always score that way. So Pacquiao's got an advantage for whoever the judges are in this system.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be wrestling, and I don't think either of them are going to take that risk. I think, as well with Floyd, a lot of it, I think sometimes you see he gets to about the 8th or 9th round, and he's sort of got it in his head that he's won it, so he doesn't always slow down, but I think he starts getting a little bit more economical. He throws a little bit less, but I think this time he's just going to...
Chewy, can you mute your mixer, please, mate?
Yeah, just done.
But I can see Floyd getting Manny out of there late this time.
So I was just going to ask you a final prediction. So you're going to go for a late stoppage, are you, mate? Yeah.
I think he'll either win 8 or 9 rounds, or he's going to get him late because I think going in down the stretch he's going to be in front, and Manny's going to have to take a risk. And I don't think he'll put him on his back and knock him out. I think it might be stopped on his feet sort of thing, possibly. But I see him possibly getting it late on.
No problems. Okay, Paul. Cheers for that, mate.
Yeah.
I just can't have Mayweather knockout. He hasn't done it for so long, and Pacquiao's obviously. If he hadn't put his foot down against the likes of Guerrero, who wasn't dangerous in that fight, he ain't going to put his foot down against the likes of Pacquiao, who's dangerous with both hands.
Or Marquez.
Slightly unorthodox style. In the biggest fight of what they'll ever be. I just can't see him taking the risk.
He doesn't. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't care that this is a massive. I mean, you'd think he knows it's a big fight, but especially with his dad in the corner, they're not going to tell him to make it exciting. Like I said, this fight is only a good fight if it's for Pacquiao. If it's exciting, if it's a boring fight, Pacquiao's got no chance.
Join us on the call next. We've got Dewey Powell. How you doing, mate?
I'm all good, mate. All good.
Good stuff. Are you a Pac-Tard or a Flomo?
Neither really. I dislike Floyd's personality. I have no real opinion on Manny's personality. I found it difficult to forgive him for a little while for beating Hatton and Cotto. But I think
Cotto, I've no problem with Hatton. On the other hand, a different one,
I'd forgive him if he beat up Floyd.
Good stuff. So, I was actually going to ask Paul, but I was lost on there actually. Are you going to be paying for this, or are you going to be team stream?
I'm going to be paying. Unluckily for me, it's fallen on the same weekend. I've got to be away with a girlfriend, so I'm hopefully going to wake all her family up when Pacquiao wins. And I'll be in her bad books for the week. But yeah, I just think I missed the first half an hour of the podcast today, so it might have already been covered, but I've not seen it discussed anywhere that Floyd Senior is probably going to be the main cornerman, and
that's right. Yeah.
I know he's only come up against Pacquiao once, but he showed that he was absolutely inept at dealing with any angle that he had no angle to pursue when he trained Hatton against Pacquiao. And I know Hatton's a million miles away from Mayweather, and Mayweather pretty much trains himself. and he's got Roger and Nate Jones. But I just think if Floyd has trouble with Pacquiao past the point of his usual 5 or 6 rounds where he works guys out, I just wonder, he's going to be going back to a corner who can't really advise him to do anything that's going to work at that point. Because, I know Floyd and Roger are great fighters, but I don't rate them in the corner. I think their messages are quite basic. Sometimes that's all you need, but I just can't see what they're going to offer Floyd in the corner should he go to a point that he's not been before, whereas Pacquiao's got Roach. I think Roach is, he's trained De La Hoya against Mayweather, and they had a lot more success against Mayweather than Floyd Sr. did when he trained Hatton against Pacquiao. And I just think that's an interesting angle to the fight that I've not really seen discussed anywhere.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, that actually, because I think even Freddie Roach mentioned it as well, as when Senior was incarcerated for crack dealing or whatever it was. He practically said, I think, that Roger was the guy that basically trained Floyd and taught him everything he knows, and that from a very young age, Senior taught Junior how to defend, but it was really Roger that taught Floyd how to fight. Can anybody want to expand on that?
Well, I think the problem that they've got is that Floyd, when he's got Floyd Senior in the corner, his instructions aren't very clear. I think the same problem that him and Roger have. It's just because they talk either too quickly and you miss it, or they talk too slow and they can't get enough into that sort of minute or that 30 seconds they've got them sat down. But Floyd, when you look at him in the corner, he doesn't ever listen to instructions. And the only instructions he ever gets told by either his dad or his uncle or by his third is get back to boxing.
Keep up the good work.
Keep up the good work, go back to boxing. So when after the opening round against Madonna, he sat back down and they just said, look, what are you doing? Don't fight this guy, get back to boxing. That's all you ever hear in that corner. And to be fair, the reason why a lot of people don't rate Floyd's corner is because they've never had to see them say to him, right, it's 8 rounds in, you're losing the fight, this is what we now need to do. Because every fight has been, pretty much every fight has been so comfortable, we've never had to see or listen to any advice to test whether they're any good or not. I think that Floyd did a good job with Oscar, the Hatton thing, I wouldn't blame Mayweather for that. I blame everything else that Hatton was doing for that. So.
Anything else you want to add on to that, Dewey?
Not really. I just think, finally in closing, I'd just like to say I don't think this is anywhere near the Floyd that, say even 2010. I think his legs against Maidana, I think Maidana wouldn't have put a glove on him a couple of years ago. And I know there's the argument that Maidana's very awkward, he throws a lot of weird shots, but I just think in Mayweather's prime, Maidana wouldn't have put a glove on him. And although, Maidana's a completely different fighter to Pacquiao, I just think Mayweather's a lot more hittable now. I don't think Pacquiao will be that bothered about hitting Mayweather's chin. I just think he'll just hit him. I know Pacquiao's, looks nothing like he did himself, in terms of when he came to welterweight or light welterweight when he bashed up Hatton and then Cotto. He looks a lot more. He looks a lot more, or a lot less weak. He looks a lot more weak. Sorry, and I can't see either one of them knocking themselves out. But I just think Mayweather's a lot more hittable than he used to be.
I was going to just to add before you went there, Dewey, is I don't know if you heard Brian mention there, that Mayweather, if you look at some of the videos, which I haven't done, I haven't watched a stitch of footage, training, video interviews, whatever of this fight so far. I'll maybe do something next week, but I've been reading some stuff in the magazines, etc. Now, Senior says that apparently in the first day of sparring, Floyd stopped somebody with a body shot. Now, Brian, I don't know if he's talking crap or not, but he's been watching videos and says that if you look at some of the videos on the heavy bag, Mayweather seems to be working on the body shots, especially the left hook to the body. Now, considering that Pacquiao has been stopped in the past with a body shot, this could be their money punch, I think, the left hook to the body. If they're looking to stop him, I think they could be looking for a left hand to the body somewhere.
Yeah, I think, though, against the southpaw, I think that's punches a lot harder to box on the back foot. I can't see Mayweather coming towards Pacquiao. I think he's going to rely on Pacquiao to come forward and make mistakes.
Fair enough, mate. So, final prediction?
You've got to go with Mayweather on points, but I'd love Pacquiao to pull it off.
So, you're going for the safety bet. You think Mayweather on points, but want Pacquiao to
pull
it off?
Yeah, but say that, if it's fairly close, if Pacquiao wins a few rounds and it goes to the judges' scorecards, it could be absolutely all over the place.
No problem, mate. Okay, thanks a lot for that.
Alright, cheers, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Any other callers coming on, Kurt? I think we've lost Steve. I think he's got some technical problems there. Kurt?
Just checking now.
Right, no worries. I'll go to the predictions so far. What we've got, another one in from Pound for Pound Ireland, Jeremy Foley. Mayweather split decision because one judge fucks up. Yeah, I can see that one happening also. Mark Mack is under the name of He Can't Run Anymore. Pack by decision. Boxing Tip Advice says draw. Dick Taylor's we heard says hope Brian King's house party will result in him being locked in the basement, house set on fire, and they will not witness Mayweather go 47-1. I did a wee bit in there actually. Keith Smith says Mayweather 11th round knockout, and Amine Ahmed says diverting from the majority. I'm going for Pacquiao late stoppage. And let's see. Sorry, I'm just reading something there on this Skype. We've got Asif or Rocco. Who do we want to get on first, lads?
What about the dream team together?
Get them both.
Oh, that'd be a joy.
All right, get them both on.
That'd be excellent. That's just the thing that we've all wanted, I think. Bigger than the fight next week is.
Hold on though. This should be pay-per-view, shouldn't it? Well, pay-per-listen we should call it. I mean, we should be charging for this.
Yep. So £10 each for continuing to listen to this, please.
You know what we did miss on the old Bellew of the Week? Sky charging £25 if you order it on the day.
Aye? Fucking hell.
What's the price like now? I've seen it advertised. The advert don't even have a price on.
It's $19.95. Same as WrestleMania. Or it's £25 if you do it on the day on the phone or by or online. Basically, what they're trying to do is stop you clogging up everything on the day. To be fair, if you order a pay-per-view like an hour before it starts, you're a moron.
I know.
Yeah,
I see Germany have actually went against the grain and got pay-per-view up as well. They're going for €20 for this fight. And I think Scandinavia is going across the board. I think they're going something like 250, 300 kroner. Which roughly evens out about 25, 30 quid.
I was saying to my mate the other day, and I know we said it at the time, the undercard is a waste of time. Seriously, I wouldn't have even had an undercard. Seriously, they might as well have just had a little concert or something like that.
Yeah.
There's no point in the undercard whatsoever.
I'll watch Lomachenko.
Santa Cruz. Yeah, but I just don't know any of the opponents. I know.
Do you know the problem with this is, and it was the same with De La Hoya Mayweather, they have a chance where they go, right, the whole eyes of the world are on boxing. Now, if I was a fighter, I'd be pulling my hair out to get on that undercard because you think I'm going to be watched by more than anyone else on a pay-per-view card. But it just seems like I said, like most things with this fight, they've gone right. How can we save some money here? Well, yeah. Let's stick Lomachenko on in a routine defence, and let's stick Leo Santa. Can't be asked to fight anybody on. And the De La Hoya Mayweather undercard was one of the worst undercards that year, and they've done the same with this. They've just made zero effort at all. And you look at the guys that are involved with Top Rank as well as some fairly decent fighters on the Mayweather side.
Well, they're just not profits, isn't it? I mean, 90%,
What?
90% of people buying this aren't going to know who Lomachenko is or Leo Santa Cruz, and they won't ever probably watch boxing again until the next big thing comes along.
Yeah, but why not stick on? Like I said, you feel the likes of Felix Verdao and people like that. You think they would be clamouring to get them on to build them up as a next big star, but it just doesn't seem to be the mentality. They just want to how can we deliver the least amount possible and maximise the money, and that's been the whole story the whole way through this build up to the fight.
I remember the Rumble in the Jungle only had one fight on the undercard, I think, and straight on the main event. I think it's really just dispense with his bollocks, actually, as you say. I mean, Leo Santa Cruz against some guy I'd never heard of, Brad Solomon, fighting an 8-rounder. Lomachenko got world title fight against Guillermo Rodriguez. Now, I think I've maybe seen this guy fight once before against Orlando Cruz, maybe, I think it was, but other than that, really don't know much about him. But we've got on the call now, we've got Doc Asif. Give me your breakdown and prediction for this fight, and plus, are you paying for it?
No, I'm not paying for it. I'm gonna stream it.
Oh, a follower.
Might be a doctor, but I'm still pretty stingy with the cash.
He's still a cheat.
Just next week's Stinkfest. It's gonna be a boring fight, but I'm expecting Floyd Mayweather to come on top because The reality is, if Pacquiao's gonna lose, it's not a big deal. If Mayweather loses, it's a bigger deal, and that's the reality of it. Floyd Mayweather doesn't know what it's like to lose, and I just got a feeling he'll find a way, like he always does, really. I mean, I think it's probably going to be a very close decision. I'm expecting Mayweather to win by 2-3 rounds.
2 or 3 rounds?
Yep. So probably one. What does that make? Is that 116, 112?
16, 112, mate, aye. Are you on the Starship Enterprise by any chance, mate?
Am I what?
Are you on the Starship Enterprise?
Fox Mulder.
No.
Sounds like Kit from Knight Rider in the background there, doesn't it?
No, it's just the laptop's pretty old. I've still got a laptop. Like I said, I'm pretty stingy. I'm not got an iPad or anything like that.
You need to spend some of that $100,000 a year salary on some new equipment.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a new. I'm in two minds to buy an iPad or a Google Play. I'll see. I'll let the wife decide. Also, very briefly, I know it's going against the grain, but just regarding yesterday, I'm pretty much out of my depression now. The fight itself, obviously, wasn't an exciting fight. You could tell after the fight, Klitschko wasn't celebrating very hard. His team looked a bit deflated. But looking on the bright side, it was a comfortable victory again. Bearing in mind, he's a 39-year-old guy. He beat a young 30-year-old guy, athletic guy. So you just look at it from that perspective as well. He's adding to the record, it's still a good boxer. I don't think he's on the slide. I think he's still pretty fast. If you watch him in training, if you watch him, sparring, he's still pretty fast. It's just that Brian Jennings is a bit of a freak. He's very athletic. He's very, very quick, and I think Brian Jennings just made Wladimir Klitschko look very, very slow. Going on to next, he's going to fight Tyson Fury next. I know there's talk about where the fight's going to be. It's not going to be in the UK. People saying, Frank Warren's going to bring in a stadium fight. Tyson Fury can probably sell about 3,000 tickets at the Copper Box. Okay, after that, Tyson Fury doesn't sell many tickets. And Klitschko himself, I mean, is he a big draw in the UK? We don't know. We know he's a big draw in the Germany. We know he sells 50,000 tickets in Germany. But the reality is, people will be excited that he's coming to the UK, but they won't run to buy tickets. So, I don't expect that fight to be in the UK. And also, with regards to Alex, with regards to Briggs, the Briggs fight is not going to happen, man. Seriously. I mean, it's just
It'll happen. It will. That's why they're building up. This is why Vlad's entertaining it. If Vlad didn't care about Briggs, he would have told him to fuck off.
There's one thing Vlad cares about more than Briggs. That's his belts. Yeah. And at the end of the day,
more than that. And he'll get a lot of money from Briggs after they've hyped this up to shit.
Look in the post conference. He even said he's going to fight Briggs, and Briggs he got knocked out by his brother. So, but anyway, I know I've promised a few people, and I'm going to stick to my promise. If Vladimir fights Briggs, I will pay for the tickets to the fight.
Interesting. Anyway, so if you get back on to Mayweather Pacquiao, briefly, give me your final prediction. Who's going to win?
As I said, I think Mayweather's going to win, and he'll win by 2-3 rounds. What I will say is I don't think it's going to be an exciting fight, but I think he'll find a way to win like he always does.
No worries. See, just before we let you go, mate, I've got a lump somewhere. If I take a picture, can I send it to you and let you see where it could be?
Yeah, you can send it. Just send it in. But also, one more thing. I remember Mayweather said about he being the best ever and he's better than Ali, yeah, and people got upset like it was some kind of blasphemous thing that he said. At the end of the day, you have different eras, you know what I mean? Back in the day, Shipman was the baddest man. Now, I'm the baddest man. Okay, times change, things change. Alright, and that's all.
No worries, mate. You dodged that last question with some great skill. But anyway, cheers for that, mate. That's Doc Asif on the line there. Now, coming up next, we've got Rocco. You alright, mate? How are you doing?
Hello, yeah, chaps. Yeah, all good.
Good stuff,
mate. Alright.
First off, mate, you team stream, are you paying for it?
No, I'm paying for it. I'm quite happily paying for it because I feel like I'm part of it then. Biggest fight of our generation. Biggest fight possibly ever. Biggest fight that...
Bullshit!
it is. It's the biggest fight. I know these things
it's the biggest fight of all time, though.
No. Well, it's the richest fight, and it's the we're going to make the most money and the most watched and the most pay-per-view. So it is going to be the biggest fight until another one breaks it. But how long's that going to take? To break that. You've got
free.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But anyway, look. Let's get down to business. I was buzzing on this fight for the last 6 years. 6 years ago, if they'd made it in 2010, I wanted to go, just be over there, anything. I think it's been rushed, this time. I think the ticket fiasco is a fucking joke. But thoughts on the fight, I've never wanted, in a sporting event or a concert, I've never wanted someone to win so bad as I want Manny to win this fight. But I just can't see him. I can't see Floyd losing. Everyone's made brilliant points. Deck made a lot of points that I was going to make. I just can't see, and Paul did. I just can't see Floyd, like the undefeated streak, the TBE and all that. All these punch bags of TBE. If he loses, his whole thing, mystique around him and no blueprint and all that is gone. He's careful. I'm not saying he's ducked people, but you can. He has. Right. There's Paul Williams, Margarito, Cotto at 140. Casamayor. Barrera and all that lot. There's loads we can say. He's picked people at the right times. As Pacquiao, as Mayweather fans would say, Pacquiao has, and catch weights and that sort of thing. He's picked people at the right times, brought them up in weight, brought them down, whatever. But I just can't see him losing. I can't imagine a day when the next day, when you look on boxing scene, it says, "Oh, Manny Pacquiao won by a split decision," because the Floyd's thing is the whole thing about this unbeaten record. If he then becomes 47-1 or whatever, it takes all that. He can't then say he was the best ever and all that. So I just can't see him losing. But then on the other hand, you think to yourself, well, Maidana got a share of it or a draw. Canelo got a share of it or a draw. Manny throws a lot of punches. If they're giving it to Maidana and things like that, will they screw him? I can't see it. But then, I don't know about you, I could never ever see Mike Tyson losing. I could never ever see Nassim losing. I couldn't imagine the day where you looked at, his record and he had to go stand there in interviews and goes, well, yeah, I lost that fight. I just can't imagine it.
Sorry, Rocco, I'm just I'm getting sent pictures here of Chad Hogan's fucking bollocks.
It's just hideous.
Yeah, I see him earlier.
Dr. Asif needs to tell us what the hell is going on there, the spots.
I think Rocco, what we have to remember, Rocco, as you said, you can't see him losing. It's been so many years in the making for a number of different reasons, but what we have to remember is Floyd Mayweather protects that zero probably more than anyone in the history of the sport, and he values it more than anyone, and that is, underpins his legacy, if you like, going forward. It's been this long in the making. Pacquiao has lost his X factor. I think Mayweather's seen that. I know he might have been forced into the fight by the TV networks and the dollar on the table, but he's taken this fight. He's the one who's pushed it forward. Pacquiao's been pushing it for a while. Mayweather's the one that decided, maybe in Miami that night or maybe on Christmas Day, whatever, he's decided he's having the fight because he's decided he'll win the fight.
Yeah, you look at. I watched his open sparring session, and he started, as Brian said, he was hitting the heavy bag, and he was getting faster and faster, and I was looking at it and I was thinking, fuck me, I'll be fucked now. And then he moved on to the speedball, and he was hitting it fucking 100 mile an hour. I thought he was on fast forward, and then Roger got in there and he was doing the pads, and he just seemed to be getting faster and faster. And I was thinking, fucking hell, do you know what I mean? Like, I just can't. He's taller. He's got a longer reach. He's smart. He's so smart. And people say about his legs and all that, but he never gets hit. He never gets fucking hit. And the couple of times that he has been hit, Mosley hit him with an absolute haymaker, and he took it. And some people even say he come back and sort of like won that round. He took it. He wasn't, he never gets it, but when he has been it, he's took it. So there is no, not blueprint, but there's no thing to say that he you know.
Rocco, I've got an important question.
Go on.
When does Oscar De La Hoya deliver the blueprint to the
Apparently
wild card gym?
Apparently he said it the other day that he picked Manny, which I fucking don't do that, Oscar.
Oscar's got the blueprint locked away. The copy of the blueprint he gave to the likes of Guerrero and Canelo, was a fake version. He's got it locked away. He saved it for Manny.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong, but I just can't see it. I can't see Sunday morning looking on boxing scene and it's saying Floyd Mayweather's lost. Because what will he then say? What he can't then claim to be the best ever. He can't, because that's only a defeat and it doesn't mean nothing to most people. But his record, people are always saying he's dodged people. The undefeated streak is what keeps him, up there with the names that he claims to be up there with. So but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm 6 years ago. Absolutely buzzing for it. I mean, you watch that the HBO preview thing. I mean, you watch that, and you're up, shadow boxing, aren't you? Like and the old Manny fucking thing. It's I mean, it's just brilliant. I mean, I know Friday the weigh in, the old heirs will be standing up, and we'll all be sitting there going.
You've got any hair though?
Yeah, I've got some, yeah. All over my body. I'm like a fucking werewolf.
Yeah, you're like a coconut in the back, mate. That's what you're like.
Yeah, I have. I know. Well, Brian King seen my picture earlier where my I had one of them ingrowing hairs that grows into your body. So
sounds lovely.
What are we talking?
It's very common.
Best boxing podcast in the world.
We need to let the doc have a look at that. But I'm going to rename Chad Hogan Platinum Bollocks for that fucking funny platinum colour.
I'll tell you what, I see he's getting a lot of patience from this podcast and this Mixler chat.
Anyways, Chad, Rocco, before I let you go, you're going Mayweather points, is that right?
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong. I think he's going to win. I could even see him stopping him, like someone said late on, where if Manny's losing, if Manny's sort of like 4 rounds down, then he's going to go in swinging. But just one last thing, wouldn't you say, people saying, Floyd will like feel him out at first and then take over from sort of like 5 and 6. So you sort of like banking on Manny winning the first 4 rounds. I mean, no one, I can't see Floyd Mayweather losing 4 rounds on the spin, but I mean, I've said to you before, the first couple of rounds in a lot of these big fights, they're very cagey, it's all feints and they're just flicking out the jab and I've said I don't know how they score them rounds because no one really, a lot of the time, no one really lands a higher percentage of punches, but they never seem to score them. We had this before, didn't we? They never seem to score them like 9-9 or a draw. So, as someone else said, I think if it goes to points, there's, because Manny throws a lot of punches, it's going to be controversial. And
yeah, I know what you mean.
And one last thing, people saying about a rematch in September, but Manny tends to fight the end of the year. They've already, Aram's already said that. So I think he's not used to doing that quick turnaround. So I don't think...
Yeah, but Rocco, you can forget Manny's preference. If there's potential for a rematch, it means Manny's done pretty well next Saturday night. Forget his preference for November. Forget his preference for China.
If Mayweather wins, there's no rematch.
No,
get it straight. If Pacquiao wins or a draw, then you will get a rematch.
I think if Mayweather wins and it's close, there'll be a rematch. I think that's the most likely outcome. Because
Could you imagine them trying to renegotiate this though? Could you imagine it? If Mayweather won, he'll go, I don't want 60-40 now, I want 70-30. Or
are they seriously claiming that there's no rematch clause?
There's no rematch clause.
No. All the TV networks have said that as well. There's no rematch clause. And I think it would be the absolute farce that it's been the last few weeks. I couldn't imagine them even sitting around a table together trying to negotiate again, even though the money is great. And if Mayweather wins, he's going to want more. If Pacquiao wins, they'd want 50-50. So I think a rematch would be a proper non-starter at the moment. I don't want it as well. I want we want a clear, decisive winner. We don't want a need for a rematch.
It'll be interesting to see if Pacquiao wins, if he actually retires. I think Roach is pushing for him to retire. I think Senior's actually pushing for Floyd to retire if he wins as well. But he's not going to retire with an extra 30 million still sitting on that table for September. Anyway, Rocco, we've got another caller coming on, mate. Cheers for your call.
Yeah, go on, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
What, mate?
I think we've got our last caller coming on shortly, and then I'm going to get all your guys' predictions for the fight coming up. I've got no more predictions coming in via Twitter, etc. So, coming on the call next, she wants to be Amir Khan's wife. Second wife, maybe. Who knows? Aisha Bashir's coming on. I think she's going to be in Las Vegas, I think, next week. Is that right, guys? She got a ticket for this fight?
No, she's just over there. She's got one for the. She's got a closed circuit ticket, I think. She's got a weigh-in ticket. I don't know if she's got a closed circuit.
It's interesting. She seems to get round about the boxing facilities and stuff like that. I want to know what she does for a job, unless she's a trust fund baby.
She's a lady of leisure, mate. Lady who lunches, I think.
There we go. I think she's a trust fund baby, I think. Come on, Aisha. We'll not bite you, sweetheart. Just jump on.
Coogan Cassius is a trust fund baby.
Just got a joint call, Aisha.
Yeah, I seen him thanking Al Heyman on Facebook the other day there. That was fucking brilliant.
Bless him, he was so excited. After all the shows he's been to. Pastor Vegas.
I've no problem getting it, actually. You know, he's put in a lot of hard work, I suppose. You know, I've got no problem getting it, so hopefully he enjoys himself.
Hi. Hi,
hello,
guys.
hello. Oh. Listen, Aisha, is this true? I'm hearing about you, by the way. Is this true?
Well,
you're a trust fund baby.
Trust fund baby? What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, you don't work, you just live off your daddy's credit card.
No, don't try it.
When you flying out?
Thursday. Fly out on Thursday. So I got tickets to the weigh-in, the last two.
How much?
So $10 each. So I'm sorted.
Are they actually going to charity, or is it just made one up and Floyd's going to buy another Bugatti with it? Oh, okay.
I don't
that wouldn't surprise me though if you just made it up.
Well, that's the theory going around, is that they actually, the $10 is going to the charity, but they're getting a cut of the ticket touts who are selling them for $200.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. First of all, Andy, I'm not Khan's wife. Why is this? I don't even like Khan.
You want to be.
No.
You don't like Khan in that way.
I'm thinking of Donnie.
No. And the other thing is,
I'll tell you why she didn't like Amir Khan or wants to marry him, or she doesn't like him in that way. After seeing that picture of him on Skype, she's thinking, "Is that all you've got?"
Oh my God, leave Khan alone. Listen. Okay, so I think Manny's gonna go in all guns blazing on the attack, and I think he's gonna knock Mayweather out in the late rounds. I really, really, really dislike Mayweather really badly. I hate his personality and everything, but I think he's a really good boxer. But I just really want Manny to win really badly. But I've got a feeling it's going to be a draw and there's going to be a rematch in September, like everyone else has been saying. And the other thing is, I want to say, big up Paul Smith for taking the Ward fight, because everyone's giving him grief on the on the Mixer chat.
Oh my God.
Hold on. First of all, Frotch ducked.
Well, you brought
thank you.
I thought we was going to get through this conversation about the biggest fight in history, but yet you have to bring Carl Froch up. That's how important Carl Froch is in the boxing world.
I'd rather talk about Brian's bollocks than Paul Smith.
Just think, Paul Smith's fighting the second best fighter in the world, and he's just been brought into the conversation for the biggest fight of all time. I mean, about Paul Smith.
No, I thought I have to stick up for Paul Smith, because Paul McAllister on the chat is going a bit crazy. I think he's had too much to drink.
Oh, he hates Paul Smith.
I know.
he hated him to such a degree that that's a death threat went out against him. Actually.
He said some naughty things about Paul on the podcast a while ago.
He had to go into hiding for a wee while.
As a man with a Liverpool born and bred, Paul McAllister don't mind hating on Scousers. It's kind of weird.
Paul McAllister's just described Paul Smith. He said Smigger is a scrotum rash. So yeah, he's not a big fan.
Talking of scrotum rash.
He's a self-fighting Scouser.
Oh yeah, and guys, I was gonna get your programs from Vegas, but you guys have nominated a Khan for Bellew of the Week.
Yeah, but he never won it though.
Andy,
he never won it.
No, I'm still good for the program. I'm still good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I like that Paul Smith fight. I think he's going to beat Andre Ward.
I'll take a program if you're going to send one back over. I'll send you money by PayPal.
Yeah, no, I'll get you guys one as a gift.
All right.
I don't need the money.
You're definitely a trust fund baby if you're going to be buying.
Yeah.
No,
must be
no,
about
I think
$10 each.
I think you guys are cool. And by the way, Asif's Dr. Asif needs to calm the hell down a bit. So anyway, and the other thing is, why is he so stingy if he's a doctor? Bloody hell.
Well, there's no explaining, Asif.
Yeah. I think he gets a bit carried away.
He ducked my question, though. He ducked my question. I've got a lump that I want to show him, but he's not going to have a look.
Too much information, Andy. Too much information.
Hey, so you could make a lot of money here because you think it's going to be a draw or a Pacquiao knockout, both of which are, you get yourself down to the Las Vegas bookmakers, and you think there's going to be a rematch in September. I mean, you're going to be spending your dad's money and coming back with more of your dad's money.
No. All right, cool. Yeah, so I just need CCTV tickets now. That's about it. But I'm sorted for Vegas.
How many of them are available? Do we know?
Oh, they're all sold out.
Really?
Yeah, they put up 37,000, but they all went. So they're going at the moment. They're going for about. I used to probably be. I think they're going for about 450, 500 each at the moment on the old secondary market. Which to watch a fight on a cinema screen to pay $500. I mean, Jesus Christ.
And also, I'm going to the fight on Friday at the Cosmopolitan. I think Brian's the one who told me about it. The Beltran one. Do you guys?
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah. So that'll be good. But I might call you guys from Vegas on the Sunday after the fight.
You should. You see if you can maybe get Floyd on the show.
Yeah. But anyway, I enjoyed the show and yeah.
Cheers, Aisha. Well, have a good trip, safe journey home,
so
and
much.
get me a wee programme, and I'll look after you. Don't you worry about that.
No, thanks, Andy.
I think you've upset Asif in the chat though. He seems to be a bit angry now. I think he wants back on.
I'm gonna get abuse. Alright.
Dr. Lockwaller or Dr. Lockswallet.
Dr. Shipman now. He's on the case now.
Dr. Tightfist.
Oh, all right, cool. Thanks.
Cheers,
guys.
Aisha. Thanks for that.
Cheers. Have a good time.
Cheers. Bye. I think we've got another caller coming on, Decent Blue. He was actually quite a regular listener to the show. I think his missus had a wee kid there a couple of months back, so he's been kind of quiet on the show and on Twitter, etc.
Putting the kid above the show.
Yep.
Casual.
Selfish.
Stop calling him Steve.
Yep. What's happened to Steve? He's fucked off somewhere.
Casual. Steve needs to get his priorities right.
Yeah. We need to get this one wrapped up pretty soon, lads, because I think we're running at cut 2 hours 20 minutes, 2 hours 30.
Yeah, I'd say about 2 hours 15 now, I'd say.
Right, we need to watch the time for Mixler then.
It's still fine, still got about an hour.
Good stuff. Now we're hoping to get Danny on here. Come on, Danny. And he's dropped off. While we're waiting on him, I wonder if you maybe just start getting your guys' breakdown for the fight. Kurt, give me your prediction, mate. And are you going to be paying for the fight?
Well, I might be paying for it, but I won't be paying for Sky pay-per-view. Let's just put it like that.
Just like me.
Yeah.
Just like me.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close. I think Floyd will nick it. I think it's going to be a 115, 113 type fight. I think Pacquiao will start off well. I think he might be ahead, but I think Floyd will just adapt and just take it away from him. And it's going to be a close fight. I think it's going to be what you like: Pacquiao's volume or the cleaner, crispier shots. And I can see a split decision, and I think a rematch could happen as well from it.
Alex.
Well, I'm pretty much back in the trend. I'm going for Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao's going to win this about 116, 112, 115, 113. It will definitely be a close fight, possibly controversial as well. I think, as I was mentioning earlier, I think there'll be some parallels drawn to the Bradley fight, where Pacquiao will put in a lot of work, a higher work rate than Floyd. A lot of shots will miss, hit gloves, hit shoulders, but some will still get through. Excuse me, and I think that the extra work rate will see him over the edge. I think he'll take the early rounds, as a lot of people seem to be predicting, and I think he'll stay quite strong up until the 8th or 9th, in which he will start to tail off towards the end, and Mayweather will pick the rounds towards the end. I think maybe Manny will have a bit of a late spur later on to try and finish the fight strong, but I feel that Floyd hasn't wanted this fight for a very long time, and there's a reason for that. Some might say that he's picking him now because of the fact, Manny's been knocked out. He seems to have lost a step, and I wouldn't disagree with that, but
Hello?
I've got to back. Oh, one sec. Yeah, I wouldn't back against Pacquiao because I'm a big fan of his. So Manny Pacquiao, unanimous decision.
Finally, we've got Danny on the call. Danny, you got a point apparently none of us have picked up on. What is it, mate?
Hi, Andy. Okay, yeah.
Not bad, mate. How's the Ian?
Oh, not too bad. It's
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Early nights
really,
and stuff.
To be honest. Oh,
What's
yeah,
happened to us this
knackered.
season, mate? We're absolute fucking shite this season.
I knew you'd start this. I don't want to talk about it.
Right, fair enough.
Bad buys. I'll
Give me
just
that
say
point then, mate.
Yeah, okay, so I don't think I've heard just about everything that everyone said, but I was just wondering if everyone can just chip in. So who was Floyd Mayweather fought that's like Manny Pacquiao?
Who's you fought is like Manny Pacquiao?
I could reverse the question instantly, but...
Yeah, that's true.
It depends what you mean. I mean, if you talk about in terms of punch volume, I mean, he's fought guys, I mean, like Madonna, who their attempt was to average 100 punches a round. So he's been in with big volume punches, but there is nobody quite like Pacquiao because nearly all the guys like Pacquiao are fighting at 120, 125 pounds.
Yeah.
So he's a real unique welterweight. I don't think he's fought anyone like him.
If you're talking about aggression, you maybe need to say Hatton, maybe, but that's just an aggression terms. Technical and style-wise, I don't think there's anyone, as Paul says, can match that.
So I asked the question just because obviously a lot of sensible people are going on, are going with the sort of heads with Mayweather and the odds and the tactical ability, and I get all that and I do understand, but just as a devil's advocate kind of thing, I just wondered. And Andy, you were close to what I was thinking as well. So I think the closest that he's fought to the style, not necessarily aggression, punch volume, things like that, is probably Hatton. So what I'm thinking is in, out, yeah? And I don't think Mayweather is quite as able to use his reactions the way that he used to be. And I think that therein lies a potential problem for Mayweather. So I think that the in-out, the different angles, is what's going to maybe make the points decision even closer. There's a good chance that Mayweather's going to adapt even to Manny, because, sorry, I didn't catch the name of the guy who just mentioned that he is unique. But yeah, I agree with that, and I think that's what's going to make it a pretty close fight. And I think that'll be the reason why it comes down to potentially a rematch situation. And yeah, I think that's pretty much why Pacquiao has a really good chance. Yeah, because he could end up making a bit of a fool out of Mayweather just simply because he doesn't have the same style as most of the fighters that Mayweather has cherry-picked, because he has cherry-picked a lot of his fighters. And I think that's definitely why it's going to be worth tuning in, if for no other reason.
Interesting. You going to be paying for it, or is the nappies costing too much these days?
I haven't decided. I don't know. I think if I was completely honest and I knew I could get a guaranteed decent stream, I'd stream it, because I think that 20 quid, it's 20 quid. But it's like a lot of the people who've already called in have said it's potentially a once in a lifetime, even though I think there will be a September rematch. It could be a once in a lifetime. I might end up. It's complicated because I'm going to be away at the time as well, so I'm going to be at someone else's TV. So I've got to maybe take the laptop as a backup, shall I say, just to cover myself. But yeah, I really do think that people should just reevaluate what they're thinking. It's going to be predictable. Mayweather's going to work him out, etc. I think Mayweather could well work him out, and the timing and things like that. People maybe have in their mind's eye this image that they're going to see a Ricky Hatton rush in and then a big punch also like Marquez delivered to Pacquiao. But I'm not too sure that Mayweather's got the power, and I don't think that Manny Pacquiao is Ricky Hatton.
There we go. Anything else you want to add on that, or any of the guys, you've got anything you want to pick up on what Danny just said there? No.
I just want to say that it is the biggest fight of our lives, to be honest, and we just hope it lives up to it. I mean, we hope it's an entertaining fight. Whoever wins, you don't need to be a stink fest where Mayweather gets on his toes and just uses movement the whole fight through. You want to see a good fight. I mean, De La Hoya Mayweather was bigged up, and it just was a poor fight in the end. And we just hope it's an entertaining no matter who wins.
Yeah. Hopefully so, mate. Danny, cheers for that call, mate. Have a good one next
cheers.
weekend.
Cheers,
Danny. Cheers,
Keep
mate.
up the good work. I'll call it.
Thanks.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye.
Adam, give me your prediction for the fight, mate. You paying for it?
Yeah, I think I will actually. As you could have probably guessed.
I'm going to be sitting with my computer up. I'm going to have like so many websites up with the streams and stuff. Me and Kurt are going to be using the same site. It's just a small payment for it. No fucking £20. Small payment for it. HBO. Fuck your Jim Watt, fuck your Nick Holland, and fuck your Sky Sports, and any fuck you Paul Malinagi if you end up on that fucking channel as well.
Well, you know that my technology skills aren't that brilliant, so I may be contacting you and Kurt in regard to that little issue there. But yeah, I'm going to be away at the weekend. I'm actually working both days at a premier race course, so in between one love of the racing, I'll be doing the boxing in between on Sunday night. So yeah, at this stage it looks like I'm paying. I think that Mayweather wins. He holds all the cards. Manny's lost his X factor thanks to the drugged up Marquez, and I think that it will be close, and Manny can nick some rounds just with his pure output. I was just thinking to myself, then will we see Mayweather on the ropes a little bit, as you know he uses that kind of leaning back on the ropes to evade some of the Pacquiao onslaughts, and then responds with, we've talked about Mayweather's potential body attack. Maybe that will be the way he's going to go, but I can see him winning. There's been some great points made tonight. There's been some great callers, etc., and I think we've covered it really well. But Mayweather to win on points, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Pacquiao visit the canvas on the way, but survive until the final bell.
Just reading some of the comments on the Mixler chat there, actually, did anybody catch Bob Arum mention that they've got technology to block all streams for this fight?
Does Bob Arum
even MI5 involved,
Does Bob Arum even know what a fucking stream is apart from the one that has water in it?
Rounding up though, Paul, round up, mate, give me your prediction, and you going to be paying for it?
I'm going to be paying for it, sort of. Basically, there's a sports bar in Cannock, not that far from me, so they're showing it. They've got several rooms with big screens, about 400 people in there, and it's £10 to get in, and you're in from 2 till 6 a.m, and you get an English breakfast if you stick around till 6. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. So I'm taking the missus for a romantic night out to Cannock Sports Bar. And then I've got work at 9 in the morning, so that'll be fun. If I was watching at home, I'd happily pay for it. I hate pay-per-view more than anyone on earth, but this isn't a fight, and this is what I'll say to a lot of your team streamers out there. Just imagine your stream goes down, as it always does. Imagine you've got no sound. Imagine it's crap. I hate pay-per-view, but this is the biggest fight of our generation. You don't want to risk screwing it up for the sake of £20. In terms of prediction we stream also, but all of us do it. But I think, I try to stream the Villa game at the weekend, and, it was chopping in and out, and it's no way to watch. You want to watch something good like this, watch it properly. Looking forward to watching it. I just think that, everyone's saying thinking with the head and the heart. I think you've got, at least you think with your head in a fight. Style matchup wise, Mayweather is, for me, just so wrong for Pacquiao. He always has been. I think he always will be. Yes, he's slowed, but so is Pacquiao. Neither fighter is as good as they were, but they are still two of the best fighters in the world. I just think Mayweather, the first couple of rounds are competitive, and then I think he'll run away with it. I just want it to be a good fight. I'd love to see either man go down. I'm not fussed who gets knocked down. I just think, for people who are going to watch this, it might be their only fight they watch all year. You need to have a little bit of excitement. We can't have Mayweather De La Hoya again, because that fight was pig ugly. It was awful. It needs to be exciting, but I just think Mayweather wins. If Pacquiao wins, though, if he does pull it off, he is already in the conversation, but he will go down as one of the greatest fighters of all time. If Mayweather wins, I don't think he does, because Pacquiao's fought everybody and anybody, and Mayweather hasn't. So there is a lot on the line for both. And I'll be enjoying Nick Holland and Jim Watt on a big 50-foot screen in a bar.
God almighty. I mean, those two alone make sure I'm going to use a stream. Kurt, are you worried about your streaming going down next week, mate? I think the ones we use are actually pretty rock solid, I think.
Me and Andy do our homework on these things. We make sure everything's going to be fine.
Yep. Paul, you don't get a press pass for next week, mate, no?
Do you know what? I didn't even bother. Out of the when I read there was 15,000 applicants, I thought, God, I wonder where we'd be. Probably 14,997. So no, I didn't apply for a press pass for that one. So I'll be watching it with my press head off and my fan head on. So.
Good stuff. Well, my prediction is, well, I think I've already said it. I said it way back at the preview show as well as Mayweather points. I do think it will be slightly tight as well. I don't think it'll be a knockout, but it's interesting. Everyone's thinking roughly along the same line. Some people are predicting knockouts and stuff, but it would be really just interesting to see for a change. Just these two guys deciding, fuck it, let's just go for it, centre the ring and just duke it out, just slam bombs at each other. None of this.
No chance.
I know, but it would be so pleasant to see for a change from a Mayweather fight, But anyways, guys, I'd like to thank you all for coming on, especially all the callers who've made the show tonight. I'd like to thank Kurt Ward, Alex Morris, Adam Smith, Paul Webb. I've been your host, Andy Patterson. Steve Wellens dropped off the call there as well. All the callers, Twitter questions, thanks again, guys. Hopefully enjoy the fight next week. Brian King and Aisha, who are also going out to Las Vegas next week, or tomorrow. Brian King's flying out. Have a good time, lads. Be safe, get drunk, take drugs, have sex, but wear a condom, or a phenadol, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, hopefully, Brian, when you come back, go see Doc Asif about that lump in your bollocks, mate. You really need to get that CD, mate. That doesn't look nice at all.
Well, we just want to clear it up quickly. Asif said in the chat that it looks like chlamydia, so stay away from ladies, Brian.
Right, let's end that part there.
Anyways, we'll see you next week, lads. All the best. Take it easy. All the best.
47-1.
Brian and Aisha, Las Vegas wedding.
Hashtag press back.